Hello, how you guys doing? I'm here with
Roger Maxson.
That's right. We've been trying to do this for a long time. Glad I could have him out here. We're in the Manassas battlefields. Lots of history here. Really beautiful place. I always tell you guys, just go out in the world, go out in nature. It's beautiful. Things might be really bad in the world, but I mean, the world is still beautiful. Life is beautiful. That was Don Corleone's last words, actually. If you've read the book, if you know the inside baseball. Have you read the Godfather book?
I have not read the book.
I would highly recommend that.
Okay.
Yeah. You get a lot of really good insights into like the characters' minds. I think it's really psychological.
Okay.
And you just get so much more context, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movies in so long. I probably barely.
Yeah, go back and rewatch them. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
I even like the third one.
Some people really do. There's like a cult following, right?
I like it. Yeah. I mean, it actually has a lot of Catholicism in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's part of the reason why I like it. It's flat out says that John Paul I was assassinated. It literally shows you in the movie.
It's neat now going back and watching Rocky. I don't want to take your time, but going back on the Catholicism in Rocky is so cool.
Yeah, and Sylvester Stallone actually came back to the faith.
Did he?
Yeah, he's really back into it. He struggled a lot because his kid had cancer or something like that. It was just a lot for him to bear. I mean, I don't blame him, obviously.
Sure.
He's come back, and somebody asked him, like, he was showing his gym routine. Someone asked him, what's your best pre-workout? He's like, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
he
really
said,
cool.
The Lord is my strength.
Good for him, man.
Yeah, no, that's good. I know a lot of celebrities that are actually coming back. Wahlberg. What's his name? Henry Cavill's actually really Catholic. I don't know if you knew about that.
I knew he was raised Catholic.
He's kind of getting back into it because he talked about how he sang in the choirs when he was a kid, and it was just good. It was just vibes, That's right. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Roger.
Yeah, so
I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably already know who he is, but it's nice to get the words from the man himself.
Yeah, so I was raised in sort of a semi-Baptist, semi-secular home, and really had a radical conversion experience in my teens. Got really involved with the Christian faith, but from a Baptist point of view. The theological, I want to be polite, but there were some problems theologically.
Yeah.
The incoherence of it.
Yeah.
Really caused some intellectual problems for me that came to hit me in the face later on, probably in my 20s. And then I think coupled with, the lack of philosophical consistency of some fundamentalists from evangelical Christianity, and then some personal experiences I've had with the problem of evil, I really struggled with the faith in general. Just almost became an atheist, on and off wrestling with it. And then a friend of mine he's still a Protestant. He had studied apologetics in college, and I reached out to him and said, "Man, I need help. What would you do with these kind of just typical internet atheist questions, And I was reading Nietzsche as well.
Ooh.
So
yeah.
he was.
Oh boy, dodged the bullet with that one.
So he took months to walk me through and just said, read Michael Kona, read Gary Habermas on the resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
So I started studying the evidence for the historical faith. Came back, thank God, through his help and the Holy Spirit, to confidence in the Christian faith.
Just in general,
Just
right?
in general.
Kind of like a mere Christianity
And I was
type
going
thing.
to settle for mere Christianity.
Yeah.
And then thought, I'm fine for now with mere Christianity, but I do eventually want full Christianity. So
You're right.
What does that look like?
You don't want to be merely Christian. You want to be Christian,
right? So, to my surprise, I went and studied at a graduate school, studied philosophy and apologetics, and my professor converted to Catholicism while I was there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like as they were your teacher?
At a Protestant
oh,
grad
man.
school.
That's great.
And
praise the Lord.
Started asking her some questions, and basically by that point I was reading historical philosophy, theology past the Reformation. So I was reading Aquinas, the 5 ways, and then was also studying art and culture, and little by little, I won't bore you with the details, but all roads led to Rome. So
yeah, right.
It became very clear to me at some point that Christianity is always Catholic. So here I am.
Yeah. Like, what was the kind of? Did you ever have a moment where you were like, I can't be Protestant anymore because of like one moment, and like, was it an overnight kind of thing, or how was that a process or experience?
For me, it's very slow and thorough because I'm very cautious about these things. I think because I've been burned. So just like
military man, you got to think,
sometimes it's time for
tactics,
action. But it was slowly answering my objections to the Christian faith in general. Was very thorough. So, for example, I was studying Hume. I was reading modern philosophers on Hume.
Oh yeah,
that's been a long time ago now. I'm just covering all the bases. And Matt Swaim, I think is his name, from the Coming Home Network.
I'm not familiar.
That's a Catholic television show that talks to converts who came in.
Oh wow, okay.
And I was talking to him, and he said, which story of the world is true? And I've taken that because that's exactly what I was looking for. Is it Christian theism or is it some sort of materialist nihilism? So I'm covering all the bases for that, and I'm seeing how it would apply to sexual ethics, culture, architecture.
Yeah.
So it's slow and methodical, but in that same slow, methodical process, Christianity just became very Catholic. So one of the aha moments for me was sacramentalism.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I came from a Baptist background. Some Baptists don't even believe in sacraments at all.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's because the Protestants, like I'm not trying to be mean to anybody, but just the whole all the solas, right? When it's if they actually knew what we believed, they would agree with us, right? Because obviously we don't believe that you're saved through your works. You're not. We don't believe in Pelagianism, right? But so I was having a conversation with a Protestant, and it was actually about the sacraments, and he's like, well, I don't need the sacraments to be saved because that's a work, and it's it's not a work, because you didn't do anything, right? Because that's what they don't realize, that we can both agree that we need grace.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Right. So because ultimately it is God,
right?
And it's not just our will to, because you obviously you do need to have a personal experience with Jesus,
sure,
right? And that's what I always tell people. I had a buddy explain to me I don't really know if I could trust all these different records, the church and whatnot. I told him, just start out by praying to Jesus, because you can agree with me on that, right? You agree with me that you want to have a relationship with Jesus,
sure,
right? Yeah, I mean, that's what I tell people all the time,
I'm afraid that some Protestants, and by some I mean a lot, sadly, at least in America, have halfway bought. The world started being reduced from this beautiful thing that we see all around us here into sort of a, like Newton, for example, in sort of a materialist view. Newton believed in God, but he had almost a deist view of God, as did Jefferson. So I think into the American view, including in religion, we have this increasingly reduced thing. So if you see Protestants now, evangelicalism now has a much lower view of the world, themselves, Mary, the sacraments, than I would say the big reformers of the day, which was shocking to me.
Yeah, because I mean, dude, if you look at Martin Luther's writings, he said the most beautiful things about the Virgin Mary.
Sure.
Right? And when you read that, you're just how did it get from that? What's going on?
Yeah.
I mean, even John Calvin.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by far, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, John Calvin and Martin Luther, they're not dumb guys.
Not at all.
They're very intelligent people. It's just a shame that they weren't able to channel that intellectualism into, they could have been doctors of the church.
Sure.
They
had Occam's razor. I'm sure you're familiar with that, but they had you went to a great school, so
thanks.
You know this better than
That's
I do.
right.
In fact, we have a mutual acquaintance, if you don't mind me saying his name.
Yeah, sure.
Father Brown. He's a really cool guy.
That's right.
But
I love Father Brown.
You had nominalism working its way into philosophy, and Luther was almost definitely exposed to that. So his reductionist view of the world, he's taken a little lower view of the sacraments than the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
And I think that was actually just a death spiral. So now, if you have baby boomer, Gen X Protestant parents who wonder why their kids are atheists, because I think American culture has become sort of just materialist from this long trend down. And that, I think, also caused my intellectual doubts about the faith in general.
Yeah. Jay Dyer refers to it as the Baptist industrial complex and how they're just atheism factories, whether intentional or not. But when you think about it, it's so true.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I know a lot of Protestants that I know they how a lot of people, even if they're not Catholic, I look at them and I know that they wake up every morning and ask God, how can I serve you, Lord?
Oh, yeah.
You know? Yeah. But also, I mean, growing up in Louisiana is a little different because, you know, we're in the South, but we're not of the South, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, so like everyone, it's almost like a mini Latin America.
Okay.
Right? Where like everyone growing up was Catholic.
Okay.
Right.
Culturally so.
So it was like a cultural Catholicism, you know, like, I mean, I knew people that didn't even necessarily believe in God, but like, yeah, they're going to mass.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a Good Friday, you know, yeah, got to go to the church because that's just what you do, you
Right.
know? Yeah. So like, I didn't really get exposed to the whole Protestantism thing until I came here. Right. I mean, I knew that they existed,
Right.
but I just didn't have that kind of, they just weren't really around that much. I mean, there still was, but they were a minority.
Right.
Right. Whereas I know everywhere else in the South
Right.
is just, you know, strip mall church.
Or old school Civil War era Baptist churches. So
That's right.
There's some of
Yeah.
those too, yeah. Especially where I'm from in Mississippi, just old school Southern Baptist churches, independent Baptist churches. But you guys are just culturally Catholic New Orleans.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's very much like you see in like, you know, like Latin America.
You're right.
Where like, I mean, a lot of people, they might not necessarily have a strong conviction, but obviously they still have a deep respect for like Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Sure.
Right? Because they're like, oh yeah, that's like, you know, it's like in America and in the kind of like the West in general, we're just so non-mythological.
Yeah.
Right? And I find like when I interact with like other people groups, they tend to seem more like mythological in like the kind of the way they perceive the world, right? Like the supernatural.
Sure.
And stories too, because I feel like a lot of guys, you know, today they just don't really, like, they don't know their story. They don't really know. They're just so
Right.
severed from that.
Sure.
Like, you know, and as Westerners, we're just so, we have no idea who we are.
That's right.
We're so, you know, like we're so disconnected from our roots.
Right.
You know, and I remember you were telling about like modernism and whatnot, how people just kind of didn't really know what human beings were anymore.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, because if there's no God, then there's no concept of human rights. That doesn't make any sense. How is there a human right without God? You know?
Foucault literally asked, what is humanity?
And what did he say?
We don't know.
Or he just said, yeah, I just don't know.
So he was debating Noam Chomsky, and Noam Chomsky said something. He made an affirmative, positive, definitive statement about humanity, and Foucault was like, no. I can't remember what he said, but that struck me.
Was he pro-human? I'm not too familiar with Noam Chomsky's works. I know who he is, but I haven't looked into
he's
it much.
still kicking. I think he might be in the Epstein stuff.
Yeah.
But he was, I don't say he's a Marxist, but he's pretty far left ideologically.
Okay.
But Foucault was very postmodernist, sort of the history of sexuality, stuff like this.
Yeah.
But you can trace, like dominoes, you can trace the ideas as they fell down in the West. And personally, I do think it started hitting culture hard during the Reformation. Immediately after that, the Enlightenment, the violent revolutions, the French Enlightenment. But you have guys like, I don't know, Newton, Thomas Paine, Jefferson. They rejected the mythologies of the past, but they just gave it their own mythology, is what I would say. They give a secular mythology.
Right, because I mean, monkeys and whatnot, if you believe in that, that's just as much of a fairy tale as the Bible.
Well, even
right?
the founding of the United States became George Washington and the cherry tree, and we
That's
have our
right.
own folk tales, folk religion. But it's sort of in place of this grand narrative of the universe that I think Catholicism really is, that historic Christianity is.
Yeah, because I find like a lot of our countrymen, they just kind of understand history as like, you have the ancient world, you have the Dark Ages, and then you have the Enlightenment, and that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah.
And then America is the saving grace from all of the evil medieval stuff.
And that's what I thought.
That's what a lot of even Catholics think that.
Yeah, well, that's because, so I know that's because they have been secularized.
Yeah.
In the modern world. So it's like this modernity, this post-modernity has snuck into the Catholic psyche in the West. And I don't think it's everybody for sure. And now I think there's sort of a renaissance of Catholic thought.
Oh, and just people in general, because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people, especially like our ages, like millennials and Gen Z, because we're people who have been so brutalized, so desensitized to just the most horrendous things you could possibly imagine. You know, like we're done with that. You know, like I know people who aren't even religious, like they're not even Christian, that are like, this can't be it.
Right.
Like there has to be something else. Like especially with the release of the Voldemort files, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, how can you look at that and say that there's no objective evil? Right? You can't kid yourself.
Right.
You know? And that's what, I mean, a lot of like in classical theistic apologetics is trying to find that common ground of, well, we both can agree that there's evil in the world.
Right.
But what we can't agree on is what is the way to overcome that.
Right.
You know? And I mean, a lot of the kind of, like the 60s counterculture and whatnot, they had legitimate good points about the problems in society at that time. It's just, they didn't, they were wrong with the solution. Right. So we both had the right diagnostics. We just prescribed we prescribed different medicine, right?
Yeah, I think they saw cancer and prescribed more cancer, sadly. But
I think so.
Yeah,
it's like, well, it's not as bad cancer.
Yeah.
It's, you know, like I'm sure you gotta have people tell you, you know, you need a little bit of the devil here and there, you know. You need, like, it's the kind of, even like Jordan Peterson says this a lot with the whole like dualism of like, you just need to balance the good and the evil.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, like, and I mean, that's very much,
that's not great.
That's Gnostic,
yeah.
right?
I didn't know he said that. That's crazy.
Well, he doesn't explicitly say that, but he kind of talks about that with like the balancing and whatnot, like the order and chaos. And it's like,
okay.
Like the kind of like, you need to be evil to defeat evil.
Okay.
When it's like, no, I think you just need to be good to defeat evil, right? And I mean, you see this in Lord of the Rings and even Harry Potter, right? It's like you don't defeat Sauron and Voldemort by just having a greater willpower than them or having more knowledge about like magic and incantations. No, it's about being humble.
That's so good, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I've talked about that. I did my Harry Potter analysis. I'm very, very proud of how that came out.
I can't wait to watch those, by the way. I'm going to go back.
Yeah, let me know, dude. Yeah. You can like and subscribe, comment on every video. You know?
I'll definitely go back and watch them and try to remember to leave you a comment.
Yeah, and so you're a big fan of Star Wars, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, real Star Wars.
And now what would you consider to be real Star Wars as opposed to fake Star Wars? Or unorthodox Star Wars?
Anything. So I have a friend who's a originally trilogy onlyist.
Okay.
But yeah,
I mean, I don't agree with that, but I respect that. I don't blame you.
But yeah, I grew up loving the prequels, so they were made for people my age, basically. So
me too.
I didn't get the old guys who didn't like them. I get it now, but
yeah,
Lucas was genius in the fact that he's getting a new generation of fans. I didn't care for the sequels.
Any of the sequels? Because I like 7 and 8. Two with an asterisk.
I gotta go, man.
Oh shoot! No, man. Oh man.
What did you like about them?
I think that there was some really good filmmaking, like the actual techniques and whatnot. Like they're really well made movies.
Oh sure, yeah, absolutely.
I also, even if they didn't really go anywhere, I actually liked the characters. Like I liked Rey. She was very charismatic. Finn was really fun.
Yep.
They had a great relationship in the first movie.
Sure.
But then, of course, in the second one, they don't do anything. And Finn was supposed to die, but then he doesn't, and then it ruins the whole thing.
Rey, I have to tell you something.
And then he doesn't tell her, and then you never know. Yeah. Also, I get a lot of hate for this. I actually really like how they did Luke. I like how...
You should have told me this before we did this.
I like how...
I'm kidding.
Because, I mean, it would have all sucked if he never got his redemption. He gets his redemption.
Sure.
Because I really like how he's like, Rey, like, y'all need to get this idea out of your head that I'm some, like, indestructible god.
Sure.
Like, I'm just a farm boy
Yeah.
who just happened to come across this, which obviously that's not true because he's in denial.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like how you just see that struggle, you know, and he had a lot of issues with, you know, how like Obi-Wan didn't really tell him the whole truth, you know, and whatnot. And I liked how he had his big moment at the end because when, you know, he didn't want to do anything. He's like, I don't want anything to do with this. But when the moment called, he answered the call.
Sure.
And I really liked that.
Which I think in the original, that was Lucas sort of, and in the prequels, he's saying, look, I mythologized the Jedi Order, but in the prequels, it's not what anybody expected, which is why the original fans didn't like it, because Luke was this mythological hero, and now you're humanizing the entire Jedi Order, and it's very broken and bureaucracy and a little bit corrupt.
Yeah.
And the rules don't work. Look at Qui-Gon and Anakin.
Yeah.
And so I think the sequels carried that on, but it still took Luke from that mythological hero and put him slap into very human.
Well, it also it was a little bit too like postmodernist, where it's just about critiquing what came before, and it's not really about presenting another solution. Whereas I like how the prequels actually did a really interesting perspective on that, because it showed you that the Jedi, as they were in the story, were corrupt, but then like guys like Qui-Gon, they kind of represent everything that a Jedi should be.
Sure, yeah.
Right? And I liked how Qui-Gon just always trusted the Force, you know? And I'm sure that's the experience of a lot of priests, you know? Just having to deal with the clergy as it is now, you know? And I mean, that's always been there.
The order's broken.
Yes. I also really liked the action in the sequels.
Okay.
I actually really like the lightsaber fights. I know not everyone doesn't like them, but I like how in Star Wars you get 3 distinct styles of lightsaber fights.
Okay, that's interesting.
You know, because people criticize the prequel lightsaber fights.
Sure.
They're like, okay, it's too stylized, it's too
extremely choreographed.
Yeah, it's extremely choreographed. It's not enough emotion. But I think the sequels is kind of like a mix of both, because you have a lot of that emotion.
Yeah.
You know, like especially in the fight at the end of Force Awakens, like every time Kylo Ren just yells "traitor" to Finn, that gives me goosebumps actually.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? There is good stuff buried beneath all of the bad stuff.
Yeah.
It's just the fact. I mean, what we can all agree on is that Episode 9 was the worst piece of shit ever. Right.
Somehow, Palpatine returned.
Yeah. Somehow they fucked it up that bad. But what's your favorite Star Wars movie?
That's impossible. So it's going to be.
I like them all. Like if we're talking about 1 through 6,
it's whichever one I'm watching, except for the sequel. So I even liked Episode 1. That was my son's favorite for a while.
Yeah.
And that's again, people older than me didn't like it, but it was genius at getting a new generation of fans. But I liked Episode 3, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, probably the best.
Those are your 3 favorites?
Probably, yeah. You?
Again, I'm the same way. Like, it's just, I love them all. It's really hard to pick one. I mean, 4 and 5, I go back all the time.
Yeah.
Which one I like better? 'Cause
4 is great when you go back and watch it. If you can slow down and just enjoy it.
Yeah,
so good.
And that's what I did with the analysis now that I just did, was because obviously in the midst of all the Star Wars, the franchise, everything, it's so hard to just go back and see Star Wars as just the movie.
Yeah.
Right? And like, what was that movie going for? What was it trying to say? And it's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And then Empire Strikes Back, I just like how they took it in a totally different direction. You know, because they could have just made another Star Wars.
Yeah, that's right.
It could have just been a Death Star.
That's what people expected.
Yeah, it could have been another, just the same thing. And I mean, it is still Rebellion versus Empire, but they don't win.
Yeah.
You know? And Return of the Jedi, I do like it, of course. And that was actually my favorite growing up. That's the one I have the most memories watching. But now, I feel like the movie is just like in tension with itself, because I love the stuff with Luke and Vader and the Emperor. That stuff is like the best stuff in all of Star Wars.
Agreed.
But then the stuff with the Ewoks, it's not that the Ewoks themselves are that bad. It's just that nothing really interesting is happening in the story.
And that's for the kids. That was it. That was him selling toys again.
That's what everyone says. Like, that was the foreshadowing of the things to come. But obviously the prequels, I mean, they've got their own renaissance now. Like, everyone kind of can agree that was the good era, right?
Yeah.
And it's, I know a lot of the people, like, the rebuttal to that is like, oh, well, it's just because you grew up with it. And it's like, there's a lot to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the prequels are just really genius. Like, it's a really insightful window into real world geopolitics.
Yep.
Right? With the controlled opposition, and like, oh wait, actually, we've been working for the bad guys the whole time. You know, and maybe you could talk about that with your experience with the military. Like, how do you feel about your experience in the military? What do you think of the military now? U.S. foreign policy? Like, what's your take on that?
Man, how long you got?
Oh man, yeah.
So I
Long time.
served under the Obama administration, getting out under Trump's first term. I was in D.C. during Trump's inauguration, and
Oh, wow.
so I worked for the Presidential Helicopter Squadron. So I saw.
You would fly the president.
Well, I wasn't that important, but I worked for them.
Okay.
I would travel with the president.
That's cool.
But I saw him fly over for his farewell flight as Trump was being inaugurated. I saw the white top helicopter fly over D.C. and I thought, they're giving him his farewell flight. And it felt like a changing of the era. But I think that just in general, the Anglo-American view of the world is probably in its twilight years.
Yes.
Yes. I don't have.
We're in Revenge of the Sith right now.
I don't have any hope that
Right.
the other powers vying for power right now are going to do as good of a job, much less better.
You mean in terms of the left-right dialectic?
No, I
or-
mean as far as other world powers. Who,
Oh, the
yeah,
players in geopolitics. Yeah.
they,
yeah.
I don't know why people sympathize with the Chinese government.
No, I do not understand that. I mean, sympathize with the people. We always want to.
Oh,
sympathize with
absolutely.
people, right? Because obviously,
yeah. And the old culture.
oh, China
Yeah.
is. I mean, in terms of like the great civilizations of humanity, what's so fascinating about them is like they're one of the only powers that have kind of always been relevant on the world stage, right? Like there hasn't never really been a time where China was not important, right? And then I guess the only other people you could say is maybe like Persia,
Yeah.
and then what else you got?
Yeah.
I guess Greece, they're broke. I don't even know what they're doing now in 2026, man.
They're broke.
They are.
They've been broke a while, man.
They have, and have been under the Ottomans, and now they're just kind of CUCKED to the Western establishment, which
Yeah.
is really sad.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And actually, like a lot of the porn in the world is made in Greece. It just breaks my
Really?
heart. Yeah,
Really?
yeah, it just kills me. You know.
Such a small country.
Yeah, yeah,
I'd like to go over there, but I've not been. I love the history.
yeah. I've not been either, but then part of me doesn't want to go because I'm sure it's just mostly just touristy stuff, and you can't even see and enjoy any of it.
And
Right.
they're not going to like tourists, and they're going to try to take advantage of it. Not all Greeks, but there's there's sort of a pickpocketing type.
Yeah, I mean Italy's kind of like that.
Yeah.
I mean I know people that don't want to go to Italy because of that.
You go really.
Yeah, that and like the whole tourism stuff and like how you that didn't bother me,
Yeah.
right? Because I mean in the Sistine Chapel when I was there, even if we kind of have to move quickly and whatnot, it's really crowded. You're still in the dang Sistine Chapel. Like, can you not just
What did it
look up?
What did it smell like?
It smelled like fresco paint.
Really?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah, it smelled like Renaissance Italy.
That's so neat.
Yeah. And when you just look up there and you just see utter greatness, it's a feeling that, I mean, it's very hard to put into words, you know? I mean, I guess you could say like the sublime, maybe, but it's like you could say the word, but does that really
Yeah.
transmit to another person what that feels like? I don't really think it does.
Right.
Right? So like when you see like the Sistine Chapel, when you see Vatican Square, when you see St. John Lateran and the Trevi Fountain and all of these great things, and then you come back here and it's like, oh shoot, man, what are we doing?
We've got this though. We got natural beauty.
We have natural. If anyone, yeah, we can agree on one thing is that America, we got something going on with the natural beauty.
Been blessed with that.
Oh yeah, like you've been to the Grand Canyon?
Yeah, been all out there.
I have yet to do that.
Death Valley.
I've driven through Arizona because we were going to California, but we didn't like spend time
Yeah.
there. I'm sure it's great, you know.
So yeah, I've got friends from out that way. The redwood forests in California,
Yeah,
where they
that was
filmed
great.
the Ewok scene. You've seen it?
Yeah. There's a picture of actually probably like 4 or 5 year old me on the big tree. Yeah.
So had you seen Return of the Jedi when you went to the forest?
Yeah, because something about it seemed vaguely familiar, and then my
Yeah.
parents explained to me that this is Endor. I'm like, yo, we're on Endor? It's crazy, you know?
I just remember to my child imagination, the trees were just like reaching heaven. It was just
And they're so wide.
unfathomable. Yeah.
You know, like you can't, like you need a couple people just to wrap around them.
Yeah.
You know, and like I was saying earlier before we started recording, you know, like people that are just so depressed and whatnot, and get a little turned off by how positive of a human being I am, and like you've probably experienced the same thing. Like, how can you sit out here with a wonderful friend, right? And just how could you? And just you hear the birds, you hear the cicadas, and you just. I actually even enjoy the distant sound of the cars swooshing by. It's kind of relaxing, you know. And then you're surrounded by all this beauty. It's just like, look around you.
Right.
What is there to be sad about?
Right.
You know. That's my thing.
So I like how C.S. Lewis used the term signposts, because I feel like we live in this world that's like this beautiful cathedral, that one in which a bomb went off, is what Lennox said. So it's, this world is
wow,
absolutely
okay.
beautiful, but it's broken. But even in all the pain and the nihilism and the consumerism and the collapse of the Western power and all this, that people are caught up in, like these young people, I'm old, but I mean like really anybody.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say Gen X through like Gen Z, just caught up in the collapse of modernity, if you will. Even in all that, there's still these signposts calling, like, hey, but there is more. There's beauty. Just look around you.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just harder to find it.
Yeah.
You know, but once you find it, man, oh man, you can't go back.
I think you got a good attitude, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, you do too.
I appreciate it. Sometimes.
You like classical music?
I do. I don't know much about it, but I do enjoy it. Yeah.
Okay, because that's one of my big recommendations I make to all men. Because I think all men
Really?
should listen to classical music. And of course, a lot of guys just, I'm like, you gotta get that connotation out of your head about that's what the prissy dudes with the powdered wigs listen to that are oppressing you. I'm like, you gotta, even if that's the case, the music itself is the most beautiful music ever.
Yeah.
You know? And like, I mean, countries like Germany, right? That it's so hard for them to be proud of their country.
Sure.
I mean, they don't have the worst reasons to not be proud of their country. I mean, yeah, right. But I mean, I'm like, hey, Germans, like you guys composed the most beautiful music on the face of the earth.
Sure.
Like you should be proud of that.
At peak.
Yeah, Bach, Mozart. I mean, I know he was Austrian, but they have a similar problem with Germany, with the struggling to be proud of their heritage and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, all the greatest composers come from Germany, right? You got Bach, Mozart, Beethoven. Well, when I say Germany, I mean the German-speaking lands, right?
Which is what Hitler was trying to rebuild, right? The Greater Germania.
Yes, because actually at that time, with the unification in the late 1800s, they were either going to do Gross Deutschland or Klein Deutschland.
Okay.
Big Deutschland, which included Austria, and I think parts of Switzerland as well. And then there was Klein Deutschland, which was just Germany proper.
Yeah.
Right? Like from Bavaria and the Alps all the way up to like Frisia and Saxony, right? And I think maybe even like Schleswig-Holstein was maybe part of that, because that's the southern province of Denmark. That's gone back and forth between those two powers all the time, because there's no real natural border. You know, you can just walk right in there.
Kind of messy, yeah.
They do, yeah, that's right. But like, what do you like from classical music? Like, what? Even if, because the problem with classical music is trying to remember the names of all these beautiful compositions, because it's just like fugue in G minor, movement 2B, and so like
So Moonlight Sonata is easy to remember, yeah.
That's a good one.
So, are you familiar with a guy named Roger Scruton?
I love Roger Scruton. I've read
There's Hope.
So many of his books.
There's Hope.
I read his book about beauty.
Next Smoke is on me.
Okay. Yeah, I got, oh shit, you want to pull out a black?
No, there you go.
Okay. Actually, can I smoke a black?
I think I'm out.
Oh shoot. Dang, dude, I'm getting greedy and he doesn't even have what I want, man. Oh man, what a acquaintance I am, huh? Yeah, Roger Scruton, we actually listened to some of his lectures at school.
Really? Was that due to Father Brown?
No, that was at my school in New Orleans. I'm talking about my school here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the first thing I ever heard from Roger Scruton was his bit about kitsch. I'm sure you're familiar with that little tidbit of his take. Do you think that that's like probably one of the biggest problems with society now is just that we just produce so much kitsch? You know, I guess for those who don't know, Roger Scruton defines kitsch as worn out cliches that have lost their innocence and do not provide us any wisdom, right? I mean, that pretty much sums up a lot of, especially the entertainment industry.
Yeah, that's right.
I could not even tell you what dang Marvel movie they're on now. I mean, I checked out after Endgame, and I didn't even really care for Endgame that much.
Yeah, okay. I don't think anybody cares about the stuff coming out now, except Spider-Man.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, it was actually, it wasn't high art, but it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of the character.
Yeah.
I love the Raimi trilogy.
Yeah.
You know, and I liked that before it was cool to like them.
Oh, is it cool now?
Well, because you know how they used to be mocked.
Really?
Thierry Maguire
Oh.
and how
Because of the third one, I guess. Bully Maguire?
that probably tainted people's view. Even though I actually really like Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
It's a really good story about
Interesting.
about like the struggle within, and lots of great things there. And it has some great moments.
Yeah.
Like that scene where he has to rip off the symbiote. It's just like how we have to just rip off our sins.
In a church,
you know? Yeah, in the church. Yeah. Sorry, we were talking about Roger Scruton. You asked me about that. Were you trying to
But Spider-Man
somewhere?
is just as good. So Roger Scruton is a British, he's passed away now, but a British conservative philosopher who probably helped salvage my mind from some type of a nihilism. I get emotional thinking about it. But
I mean, I can't believe he's gone, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. He lived here actually for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there are people that helped me on my own journey that I didn't realize the impact they had at the time, and now looking back, he was one of them. Holly Ordways, Roger Scruton, but he was a big fan of Wagner.
He was.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I love Wagner, so it's kind of neat. He understood it much better than I do, but it actually goes back to what you mentioned with Star Wars. These power structures that Lucas is criticizing. It sounds like we're trying to over-intellectualize this, but we're not. So,
no.
Episode 3...
We're just guys sharing our thoughts. We're not trying to sell you on anything.
Oh, no, yeah. But the prequel trilogy is criticizing basically, he's taking shots at Bush and all this stuff in the prequels.
Yeah, the Bush era government,
Yep.
and he was very open about that.
Oh, yeah.
And he was, I mean, George Lucas is a patriot. He loves America.
Oh, yeah, yeah. He's a boomer, but he loves it.
He does, yeah. But yeah, he talked about that, how just the, how like all these wars, like what are they for? Who's paying for these? What are we even fighting about?
And Trump, just did another one. It's like,
I know, and I was really hopeful for him,
Yeah.
and I mean, I don't regret voting for him.
Sure.
I guess I put that out there. Oh no, I voted for Trump. Oh shoot, dude. I mean, regardless of where he's at now, I think we do need to give credit where credit's due.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Where he got the ball rolling for us to be able to be critical of the establishment, right? Because before Trump, I mean, a lot of these things that now it's like, oh yeah, of course all these wars are BS. That was like conspiracy theories back in the day,
Sure.
right? And actually, I mean, I'm a bit younger than Roger. I was not even alive during 9/11, actually.
Man,
What were you doing in 9/11?
I was in the
That's
woods.
the question of the day. What were you doing on 9/11, man?
I was in the woods and a little too young for military service, but came in, and for whatever reason, my dad was off work and he ran inside as I came in, I think. And I just remember him turning on the TV because he heard it on the radio.
Yeah.
But I was in the woods. And then a lot of my friends went off to serve, and I joined much later.
Were you not of age to serve?
I wasn't, but I wasn't settled in serving. I was trying to go into Protestant ministry.
Really?
So I did. I went to Baptist seminary and became a minister, and then later joined the Marine Corps. But Wagner, which it's just interesting, is I think one of the big things of the Ring cycle is similar to Star Wars, but it's like the greatest power, if you will, in the world is not power, it's actually love.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually what was so fascinating when I rewatched the original Star Wars from 1977 is it's very anti-technology. That's really, because now, I mean, obviously all these things about the Force, the Empire, Rebellion, it's like how we know that 2 + 2 = 4. Right? It's just like a given, a lot of these things.
Yeah, okay.
And so when it's cool to just go and just try to really turn off all of this other context we have of the Star Wars story, and you pay attention to the dialogue and whatnot, it's what it really is like, because it's the empire, but it's a technocratic empire.
Okay.
And you know how Tarkin mentions that the Imperial Senate is no longer of any concern to us.
Yeah.
So they have displaced whatever previous power structure there might have been, and the other guy in that Imperial boardroom meeting, he describes that we maintain our control through fear of this battle station.
Right.
Right.
That's interesting, actually. Yeah. I see where
Right.
you're going.
And the chief error of the Empire is that they think, like just sufficiently advanced technology is good enough to dominate all of reality. When actually Vader calls him out on this and tells him, no, you're not thinking about the Force. Right? And in the trench run, at the end of the movie, I totally forgot how Luke actually turns off his computer.
Yeah.
And he turns off his computer and they're like, wait, why did you turn off the computer? What's going on? He's like, trust me.
That's good.
Because he realized, no, I need to trust in something greater than me. I need to trust in the Force. I need to trust in Obi-Wan, right? And he doesn't win because, the computer told him exactly where to shoot the thing. He just it's like trusting God.
Yeah.
Like you just have to. It comes to a point in life where it's like you're either in it or you're out.
Yeah.
I'm in, right? And I think this man is too.
Thank God.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're saying, it's neat way to say it. So basically, because one guy launched his torpedo using the computer and it failed. So there's more than this digital techno stuff. There's this mythical element to reality, which I think is one of the reasons it appealed to everybody.
Yeah. It was, because it imbued not only mysticism, but also meaning.
Yep, that's
right? That there's a meaning to all of this, right? Like, how is it that we can connect with characters who are literal robots?
Right.
Like, R2-D2 and C-3PO are not human beings, yet you just have this feeling in your heart that, like, if something happened to either one of them, you'd feel for that. And the way it's genius, like the sound design, how, like, R2-D2, he doesn't even speak, but the way his bleep bleep bloops, like, they have intonations to him, there's tones, like, you can feel when he's sad, you can feel when he's happy and whatnot. And a lot of times I feel like C-3PO, right? Where he's like, I'm sorry, I'm nothing more than just an interpreter, right? And he knows that, right?
Yeah, he very much did. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, who's your favorite character in Star Wars, if you can even pick one?
Yeah, that's tough. So my son's favorite Jedi is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
I think just because I'm old, I have to go with Luke Skywalker. But it's hard to choose. Qui-Gon's amazing.
Love Qui-Gon.
Even Anakin, man, you can kind of relate to him.
He feels like he encapsulates the Gen Z spirit.
Oh, really? Okay.
Of the pipeline to radicalization. Somebody made a video about that. I forgot who it was.
Interesting.
Yeah, because he was told his whole life that he's the best, yet they keep holding him back, and he's like, what are we doing, And that's how a lot of guys feel now, how, like, they've just been robbed of their inheritance.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Anakin was.
You have.
Right?
So
yeah.
So the generational gap here. Allow an old man his reflection.
Okay.
Growing up.
He has his boomer 2 cents right here.
Well, I'm going to ask you, do you feel like growing up, you guys were told, like, a lot of like a lot of affirmation, you guys are the best? Or do you feel like your generation, because I'd say younger millennials had that, right? It was,
you're
you guys
special.
are so awesome, everybody's special.
Yeah, go be a rock star, go be a model.
Everybody can be top.
Exactly. I mean, we were kind of taught that too, but obviously, like, my educational experience was not public school.
Okay.
So obviously, I'm sure a lot of the guys who have been to public school, it's probably that same experience. But for me, it was more so just, the gospel. That was really the source of meaning, as it should be, right? Like, especially later in high school, it became a lot more about, like, what is your vocation? Like, because
that's a very Catholic thing.
Yeah, because obviously as Catholics, we believe that not everyone can be George Lucas.
Right.
Not everyone can be, Paul McCartney, I guess you could say, right? And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
Because one of the biggest problems I feel like with the society now is that we think that anything less than the greatest of all time is not good enough.
Yeah,
and it's worthless, We don't even know how to have fun, dude. We think with sports and whatnot that you need to be the best of the best. You got to go win the state, and then you got to go college, and you got to go pro. And if you don't make it, then it's worthless. And it's like, I just play basketball with a group of guys every Wednesday. You know, I'm terrible at it.
You
but
do
it's
that now?
Yeah,
that's great,
and it's
man.
fun.
Yeah,
you know, because we're not trying to go pro. We're not trying. I mean, obviously, it's a good amount of we try enough so that it's competitive, it's interesting, but we're not gonna, you know, gas ourselves out and whatnot. You know,
I think that's good.
Yeah, because now I don't know if you're familiar with the YouTuber Arthur Greenwood.
Not off the top of my head.
He's more my age. He talked about how a lot of people fear free time because they don't know how to properly enjoy free time.
Sure.
People don't know recreation.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, like I was saying with the like with all this internet drama and whatnot, how about like you can't just read a book? You can't just watch a movie and just enjoy that? That's where I derive my joy from, the church, Christ, the community, you know? Like my interaction with Catholics isn't really on the internet, it's at my parish,
Good.
right? As it should be.
That's amazing.
Right? Yeah. But like what was the school experience like for you? Like you went to public school and all that? Or like did you go to Christian school or something?
I went to a Baptist college and different kind of schools growing up, but a lot of homeschool, believe it or not.
Really? That's good.
And my wife, she went to mostly Protestant Christian schools. I think that the fundamentalist movement in the country was a reaction against Darwinist thought, modernism, things like this.
Rightfully so.
The problem I think that happened was they reacted against it, started all these thousands of Christian schools, but didn't really do the best job of it. So I think those are also what Lisa Dyer said, atheist machines.
The Baptist industrial complex. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of Christian schools have been that. Now the classical side of that has been amazing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of people, they're just creating atheists because the focus of the school might be young earth creationism or biblical literalism or things like this.
What's your take on creationism? Because I'm a semi-creationist, I guess you could
Okay,
say.
what do you mean by that?
I'm a semi-creationist in the sense that I believe the account in Genesis,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
But
Yeah.
I don't necessarily dogmatically hold to it had to have been like the earth has to be 6,000 years. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the age of the earth is kind of irrelevant. Doesn't really make a difference to me.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously, yeah, like I said, creationist in the sense I believe in the Genesis account of creation. Sure. It's the word of God.
Amen.
Right?
To that.
But I'm not gonna, you know, double down on these sort of the scientific things.
Sure.
Right. And I mean, obviously, I think that God can totally make a 4.6 billion year old universe in 7 days.
Sure.
How could he not do that?
Sure.
Right. I mean, it might look like it's 4.6 billion years. Right. I mean, think about like Adam. Right. Like when God created Adam, if you like scanned Adam, it would say that he's like 30 years old or whatever. Sure. But in reality, he's like, what? Like he's not even a year old.
Right.
Right. So it's kind of like that. That's being Christian allows you to answer the age-old question, chicken or egg.
Right.
It's chicken. God made things in its completion, right?
Yeah, that was the view that a lot of my friends held, and I don't have a problem with it. I think that the difficulty was that they became so dogmatic about it.
Yeah.
And they don't have a proper church structure, so they're dogmatic about the wrong things.
Yeah.
So if a lot of people my age went to university, saw all the evidence of the earth is probably much older than 6,000 years old,
Right.
and it broke their brains. And then they
Right.
thought they had to choose between, you know, atheism, which was associated with science. Their Christian schools are telling them, like, the belief in the old earth is atheism. So people my age equated evolution of the old earth with atheism. So they go to school, go to college, and then it's like, I don't believe in Christianity anymore because the earth is older than 6,000. So I don't have a problem with somebody believing it, but the dogma of it is what I don't like.
Yeah, there's a really good documentary called Foundations Restored. Have you ever heard of it?
I've heard of that, yeah.
Yeah, so basically it's like a 10-part series, I think, where they basically just clarify the Catholic Church's teaching on evolution, what we cannot believe, and it critiques evolution, the kind of evolution we can't believe in, which is macroevolution. It basically critiques it from a religious level and a scientific level.
Okay.
Right. So it gets into the science. It gets into the conflicts with scriptures and the magisterium and whatnot, and it also really exposed a lot of the history behind it. That I didn't really know, because I mean, obviously you know better than I do that ideas don't come out of a vacuum.
Sure.
Right. And so obviously Darwin. Yeah, what time do you think he was living in?
Sure. Yeah,
right? He was British. He was living in the British Empire.
Right.
And so, of course, now when you have this sort of theory that certain groups of people didn't evolve as well as the Anglos.
Sure. It was
That's
a
a very convenient ideology for the British Empire.
It was very much a thing back then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, because the full name of the origin of the species is...
Yeah.
Origin of the species and the preservation of the preferred races, or whatever it is, And of course, I didn't know that. I'm like, why did they just chop that off? I kind of want to know that.
Seems relevant.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. But yeah, Roger Scruton. I wish he was still with us.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people I wish were still with us.
Yeah. I think he helped a lot of people. I think he knew that. But
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So did Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
Don't know what he's doing now. He kind of went off the rails.
I haven't kept up with it. Not to get into that, but
yeah.
I was aware of him maybe 8 years ago and kind of lost track. But I know he's had health problems.
Yeah, and he was taking some weird like Russian drugs or something. I don't even know what he was doing. And then he kind of faded into irrelevancy a little bit.
Okay.
Because people. He was a good, similar to Trump, he was like a good get the ball rolling, get people more interested into ideas that are not of the establishment, not of the age.
Yeah.
But just for a lot of these really fundamental questions like religion and whatnot, he just didn't have a satisfactory answer. So a lot of people just, they graduated from Peterson to, then they're going to church and getting into that kind of stuff.
That's good though.
That is good, right? And that's why, again, with Jordan Peterson, despite my criticisms of him, I have to give him credit that he got a lot of people back in church.
Yeah, I've got friends from the Marine Corps that were not leftists, but he gave us permission to reject the leftist orthodoxy. Mm-hmm. He created that space for people who were just so locked into it.
Yeah.
So I think he kind of led people out of that. But then I do remember hearing him talk about religion. I had a Reformed Calvinist friend. He's like, "Look, he's a Reformed Christian." I'm like, "Brother, no, this guy's a Jungian sect."
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he believes in God. Maybe back then.
He said he doesn't have an answer to that question, but he lives his life as if there was one.
Sure. Yeah.
Which that's a better mentality than
very much so.
Saying there's no God.
Sure.
But obviously that's still missing the mark, right?
Sure.
It's not a bullseye. It's on the archery board, but it's not quite a bullseye. It's maybe like a 10 or 9, like way out on the fringes, but it still hit the mark a little bit.
Well, living that way is better than just being a nihilist, I'll say.
Yes, yes. And I mean, what Jordan Peterson said that really kind of like I'd never really thought about it was a lot of the sexual ethics, because obviously when you're a teenager, that is like the one part of Christianity that we can all agree is like, that's always been the least popular part.
Sure.
C.S. Lewis even talked about this, how
really? Okay.
chastity is the least popular of the Christian virtues.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
But it was interesting for me to hear from someone who's not even really Christian talking about how, if you just sleep around with a lot of people, like, that's not really going to make you a good person.
Right.
It makes you really selfish.
Sure.
And once you realize that, like a lot of people that they can't fathom why, like the church says X thing is a sin. They're like, how is that a sin?
Right.
And I'm just like, what I always tell people is, would you do that to Jesus? I always say that. Would you do that to Jesus? You think it's okay to swindle this one dude, but would you swindle Jesus? No. Because a lot of people that aren't Christian can at least agree that they think Jesus was a nice guy.
Sure, yeah.
They don't really have that much ill will towards Jesus, which I think is still a good thing.
Yeah.
Right? And just any sin that we do, we just got to ask ourselves, would we do that to Jesus?
Yeah.
Would we do that to Mary? Would you do that to your own mother and father? Would you do that to your brother and your sister?
I think talking about the secularization of America, even me from Protestants mentors, so I'm all involved in this Baptist community. You know, the advice I got from Baptists that I still have some love for, these particular, I'm thinking of specific people. I appreciate the time they invested in me, but there is no magisterium, so the decline in sexual ethics, even in conservative, even fundamentalist Baptist church, they don't know it. They're so blind to history. So the advice that I got was, even now as a Catholic, I'm still learning, beginning to understand, but I'm like, oh, I see why we don't do that now. But back then it would have been totally over my head. But I love how Catholicism is kind of a both and gives you the theology of the body. It gives you a full answer.
Yeah, we studied that in middle school, actually.
Did I just go to your school, man?
I know, right? Man, I went to Hogwarts, bro. I talk about that in my Harry Potter analysis.
Really?
How I feel like I legitimately went to Hogwarts.
Man.
I had my Professor McGonagall. I had my my Snape. You know, everybody's got their Snape. You know, that's what makes Harry Potter so relatable, right?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Harry Potter character?
Who's yours? And
Sirius.
I will say he's one of my favorites. Yeah.
The Prisoner of Azkaban himself, right?
I like how you said earlier we were talking. He said that was one of his favorite movies. That's my favorite Harry Potter book and movie.
Book too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sirius in a lot of ways is he's a Christ-like figure.
Yeah.
You know, not only just because he looks like Christ, right? The way Gary Oldman presents him, right, with the long hair and the beard and whatnot.
I did not think of that.
Right, but also Sirius Black is how Christianity kind of feels like now. You know, where it's falsely imprisoned in Azkaban, in the prison industrial complex, when, like how you talked about, how it's not Christianity that all these Norse pagan people should blame, it's the Enlightenment. So it's not Christianity, because Christianity is locked up in Azkaban, when it should be the frickin' Enlightenment locked up in Azkaban. It's Peter Pettigrew that's guilty.
Yeah.
It's the weird Coomer weirdo who sold out his friends.
You need more views, man. This is good.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
This is good. I like this.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that. That's good.
Yeah, and also I just love Sirius because he reminds me of someone in my own life who was very much a Sirius Black figure to me, because I was going through transitionary phase of my life. I just didn't really know the answers to a lot of things, and I just, going through, typical teenager stuff. I'm not the only one. I'm not trying to say I'm special or anything. I'm not, right? We're all people. I love every one of you, people who are watching this and not, right? I love everyone, right? And I mean that. But we all go through those times when it is hard, and it's not even necessarily that's why I'm done with this whole people talking down to people of, well, you don't know what it was like, and who cares?
Yeah.
What is it like for them? Let's help them. Right. We're all going through things, you know? And so I had someone who really felt like Sirius Black for me, gives him that answers, was that true masculine role model, and it was also kind of cool, because Sirius Black has this kind of punk side to him, a little rebellious and whatnot.
Catholicism is the new punk rock.
I guess so, it is, which I'm not a fan of punk rock. I don't know if you are.
Not really.
Well, you're drinking the dang punk rock
the
Monster.
Punch Monster is the best flavor.
Now we're lying to you. We're getting paid by Monster. So
The big bucks. I got accused of taking the $7,000 from Israel on YouTube.
You got accused of that?
I've been accused of being Antifa, which I am not at all. Not Nazi, a witch.
So both left and right people have, exactly.
An atheist, was never a Christian. $7,000 from Israel, and now I sold out to the man.
Yeah. And I mean, the Israel, obviously, I don't blame anyone for being upset with the current state of things, but that does not give you any right to just harass Jewish people for no reason.
No, not at all.
Right? Or I mean, the same thing happened, especially in America with the race relations. Like, guys, calling a black baby the N-word and thinking that, oh yes, this is the hill to die on because of free speech. No, dude.
Yeah.
Would you call Jesus the N-word? No, you wouldn't. Right? I mean, Nick Fuentes gets a lot of things right. But again, you can't say that the man with the tiny mustache was really fucking cool.
Right, yeah.
Even if that's trying to shift the Overton window, He was not.
Is he trying to be like, I don't follow the guy. Is he trying to be like an edgelord or a shock jock or?
I mean, I don't keep up with him too much. I mean, he's a lot more genuine than people give him credit for.
Yeah.
I mean, he is Catholic. He talks about it a lot.
I started praying for him.
Yeah, I did too.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not really an edgelord thing. It's really, he's just trying to shift the Overton window of what is acceptable to talk about, right? Because obviously, yes, we can learn now that what's going on with, like, why were we taught from birth about the Holocaust, right? Which obviously the Holocaust did happen.
I think so, yeah.
It absolutely did. I have family members that died in that.
I'm so
right?
sorry.
That's all right, man. And obviously, anyone who wants to deny that, that's an insult, not just to me. I'm not trying to say, oh, I'm offended or whatnot, but also that's an insult to all the Catholics that died
Yeah, that's right.
in the Holocaust.
That's
St.
right.
Maximilian Kolbe.
That's right.
You know? But yeah, and so a lot of people are just like, well, why aren't we talking about the Holodomor? Why aren't we talking about all these other tragedies? Because there's a lot of tragedies. Why is it that this thing gets, this is the worst thing? I mean, obviously, it is one of the worst things that man has ever done to fellow man, right? But that's just the story of the world, right? Cain and Abel, right? I mean, a lot of the stuff with the church, right, where we're like, how is it that whoever the Pope is or whoever the bishops are, how do they get to treat these bishops that are fighting the good fight? Why are they treating them like that? Like, why is the church hierarchy so corrupt when we forget that what's his name? Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm not Christian now. What am I talking about? With Joseph in the Old Testament.
Okay.
His brothers sold him into slavery.
Sure.
His own brothers, right? But they're all brothers.
Yeah.
Right?
Something that helped me with that, coming from a Baptist Protestant perspective, because you see corrupt priests, the abuse scandal, which is tragic.
Oh yeah, I mean, I tell people, like I had a buddy who was like, when I was trying to get him to be Catholic, and he just had a struggle with that, and he's like, man, like, you don't see how like that makes me feel? I'm like, brother, have you ever thought about how that makes me feel as a Catholic?
Yeah.
That the hierarchy of my religion are doing that?
Right.
It's terrible.
It is.
Man, you know?
But when you look in the Old Testament, and God established this covenant, you see corrupt priests. So, but that also, it's so easy to focus on a bad bishop or a bad priest. But for every bad bishop or priest, there's a million faithful Catholics.
Oh yeah.
And that's really helped me to meet some of those guys.
Yeah.
Since I've come into the church.
Yeah, I forgot who said it, but maybe it was St. Ignatius Loyola. I forget. Don't quote me on that. But someone in Christianity said, all it takes to change the world is one Christian with his faith on fire.
Wow.
That's all it takes. You know, that's where everywhere I go, I preach the gospel. I mean, I'm not being preachy.
Yeah, no, I get it, yeah.
But obviously, yeah, like I always, like you could preach the gospel through your actions, you know? And I'm not trying to say I'm just some great person, but with just your average man, like we forget that there's so much that we as human beings, from wherever you are, have in common.
Yes.
There's a common humanity, right?
Yes.
Every human being has asked these same questions that we're asking right now. Every human being, like around the world, there's someone in every country who's struggling to pay the bills.
Sure.
There's someone who is just talking to his family.
Yeah.
You know, what is his experience like? You know? And like, I mean, obviously we come in different flavors, you could say, humanity. But, you know, there's all these kind of different categories, right, that we all share. Music, for example, right? Music sounds very different culture to culture, but it all has that which makes it music.
Sure.
It has music nature, right? If you want to be like Thomistic about it, you know, and like there's different foods, yet we all eat food. We all have to eat food. We all have to use the bathroom. We all have to sleep.
Yeah.
Right?
The nature of being human.
Yeah, and obviously sleep is an icon of what we can at the very least all agree that we share in common as human beings is death.
Sure.
Right? Like, have you ever thought about that? Every night, it's like a mini death, you know?
I think it is supposed to help you reflect on what's to come. Memento mori, right?
Exactly. And, I mean, obviously, I'm not a fan of Neil deGrasse Tyson, but he had an interesting thing to say about death, where he's like, you know, why is it that human beings, like, we technically just zone out? You know, maybe if there's aliens, they might not even sleep. You know,
right,
I don't know.
yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, we're all gonna die, and that's yeah. I mean, that's what Harry Potter's all about: coming to grips with death.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a very Christian story.
It is.
In the core essence of it, it's very Christian.
Yeah, like I talk about, it's a celebration of the classical Western tradition,
Yeah.
right? Like classical education invokes a lot of Greco-Roman mythology,
Very much so.
gets into kind of British and Germanic folklore with werewolves and vampires and these different creatures, right? Because that's what an epic is. In all these epics, there's this hierarchy to reality, and it's about all of reality, right? Because there's different spheres of human society, and there's also different spheres of the creatures,
Beyond
right?
that, yeah.
And the creatures world, and there's also it's obviously the element of the spiritual world, right? Because that's what a lot of the criticism just kind of boils down to. Yeah, but magic. And I'm like, well, I mean, yes, it's magic, but like, what is it really? What is the magic really?
But so even that though, I want to hear your thought. That comes back to the idea of power. So the magic in Tolkien is a little bit different than the magic in Harry Potter. But
Yes, that is true.
It's still a critique of the misuse of power, because that's Voldemort's magic is fairly pagan. He's trying to use power to manipulate the world, and
Yeah, he wants to hit the unholy trinity, right?
Right.
The three unforgivable curses. Snape describes in Order of the Phoenix how Voldemort would derive pleasure from using all three of the unforgivable curses on another human being, which is you control their mind to do what you want them to do. You torture the living hell out of them. And then in the final moments when they're just begging for mercy, he does it. He kills them.
yeah,
You know? And Voldemort's really like an antichrist figure.
Yep,
He's a
yep.
total inversion of all that's good, true, and beautiful. You know? And what I really liked, and I mean, obviously all these things I talk about in the analysis. I'm not trying to just turn this into an extension of that. But what I love in the first one, you know how Voldemort tempts him, right? He tells him, well, if you give me the stone, I could bring your parents back. You know, it's like the devil, right? I could give you all this glory. I could give you whatever you want. Just give me your soul, right? Like the stone, right? And he tells him there is no good or evil.
Yep.
There's only power, and those too weak to seek it. And Harry, as an innocent, wonderful child, sees through all this.
Yep.
And he tells him, no, you're a liar. You're a liar, Voldemort. You're telling me there's no such thing as good or evil?
right.
There's no, and I love how that he accepts how, because he has the experience with the mirror of Erised. He sees himself with his parents, and he just wants that so bad. But by the end of the movie or the book, right? I try not to go off of just the movies. I love both.
Sure.
But obviously, recently it's more so the movies. He's able to, grow and realize, you know what? I don't have my parents, and that's okay. He knows that it's still not going to work bringing them back, but he realizes, nope, I can't bring them back, and that's fine, because I have Hogwarts, I have Ron, I have Hermione, I have Hagrid, I have Dumbledore, right? Because I think, have I told you about how I think Harry Potter shows the Trinity when you really think about it, right? So you have Dumbledore, God the Father, Harry, God the Son, and Fawkes, the love that proceeds from the Father and the Son.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that those characters are divine. That's not what I'm saying, but they certainly reflect the relationship that God has with himself.
Yeah.
Right? And Hagrid, bro. I love Hagrid.
Yeah, he's one of the best characters.
Yeah, and I mean, remember Harry said in Chamber of Secrets, it just isn't Hogwarts without you, Hagrid.
Yeah, which, side note, I don't know how I'm going to do this new show without the same Hagrid.
Oh, I forgot even thinking about that.
It's tough. It's tough.
I mean, if anything, because they're trying to brand it as like the book accurate one, I would much rather them do animation.
Okay.
That would be really cool, because you could get a cool style. You don't have to deal with the hullabaloo about who are we going to cast, right? You can draw whatever you want. That's one of the cool things about animation.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you into animated movies at all?
I do like DC Comics animated movies.
Oh, the like where they adapt them pretty much page
Yeah.
to screen.
Yeah.
The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
That movie, I've only seen the part 1, but I don't know when's the last time you watched it.
It's been a long time for that one.
My favorite moment in that entire movie was when Batman has like his bat tank, right? And he's fighting the punks, and then the punk leader is like, "Batman, get out of that stupid ass tank. Get out of that weak crutch,
Right.
and get out and fight me."
Right.
And then Alfred tells him, no, you don't want to do it, bro. Like, you're old, you're gonna lose. And then Batman's like, if I don't do this, then I was not meant to be Batman.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what Batman's all about.
Yeah.
He's all about, I don't kill. You know, I mean, it might have been like that before it was not like that.
Yeah.
But they do that a lot in The Killing Joke, Dark Knight Returns, and obviously the Nolan trilogy.
Sure.
Right, and that's what makes him so interesting.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he's really the only... I mean, obviously, I know a lot of superheroes. It's kind of a given. They don't kill people. But, like, Batman's really the only one I know where they explicitly, like, that's, like, their principle.
Yeah.
You know?
I think by the Frank Miller period, though, I think he kind of lost himself. He was half villain by that point.
Yeah.
So he is just sniping people, if I recall.
Well, there's always been an element of moral ambiguity to Batman.
Sure.
But, I guess I'm going to say this last thing, and then you could talk about what is it you love about Batman. But the other big thing the other big thing I love about Batman is that he's like what we all wish our elites were like.
Okay.
You know, because he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
You know, he could spend his time and money doing whatever the hell he wants.
Yep.
Yet he chooses to spend all his time, money, and resources in helping those who can't.
Yeah.
You know, he's like Christ.
Yeah.
He's a medieval man in the modern world.
That's exactly right.
Pilgrim's Past talks about that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, you're a fan of Pilgrim's Past?
I'm not familiar.
Oh shoot, dang it. Because I forget, like, I'll throw out like a creator's name and you're like,
I don't watch a
Sure.
lot of YouTube, I guess, unfortunately.
well, I have in the past, so like
Yeah.
obviously my stratosphere of what I have absorbed. I mean, I've absorbed everything,
Yeah.
right? Any like sphere of YouTube I've seen,
Okay.
right? Because like I was big into like the movie reviewers and whatnot.
Right. Who do you like?
Today or historically?
Either.
I mean, obviously, Red Letter Media.
Okay.
They're like your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTubers,
That's fair.
right? And they just have like this sense of humor. They make me laugh to this day. They're just so funny. Mike,
Yeah.
Jay, and Rich. I love them. I was really into YMS.
Not familiar.
Your movie sucks. Adam.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I pray for him every day, actually.
Good.
Yeah, because he was raised a Christian, and I feel like he was probably really hurt, you know, and he's into like, you know, furry stuff and whatnot.
Okay.
And I commented on one of your videos one time about how I don't see the point in just mocking people who have those proclivities,
Right.
you know, because it's easy to just dismiss people. Oh, you're turned on by Asian cartoons.
Right.
Yeah, that's a serious problem, dude.
Right.
You really think that making fun of these people is going to do anything good for anybody?
Right.
You know?
I think the idea was culture changed so much in my lifetime. So, like, my great-grandparents couldn't even relate to He-Man, you know, back from the 80s cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they couldn't even fathom the furry stuff. Just wouldn't.
Yeah.
So I think there was a bit of mocking because that's not normal, it's not human, and they're correct. However, but that person is a human.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason that they're looking for community, they're looking for identity, and trying to love that person and help them is just the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, YMS actually a few months ago did his like 15 or something year anniversary stream, and I left a super chat explaining how I'm his #1 Catholic fan.
Oh, cool.
You know, and I told him there's a lot of stuff we don't see eye to eye on, but doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
You've made me laugh more than most people have, you know, and you've provided me a lot to my repertoire of how to analyze movies.
Yeah.
You know, just really try to see the good in everyone.
There's literally,
You know?
speaking of Thomism, there literally is good in everyone.
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it might be buried
Yeah.
really deep beneath like Darth Vader, but Luke, he never wanted to
Right.
kill his father. And what's interesting enough is that Vader never wanted to kill Luke. You know, he was trying to
that's right.
turn him
Yeah.
to the dark side, you know. But then Luke, again, you don't beat the Emperor by just, oh, you can learn more of the Force power, and then you learn this lightsaber form, and then you deliver the killing blow. No, because remember, Return of the Jedi, he puts down his weapon and he says, no, you've lost. I'm a Jedi, like my father before me.
Good.
And he was always the living memory. He was the only living memory that Vader had of his past, for when he was a good man.
Right.
You know, and he was a son who lost his mother. He was a husband who lost his wife, but he was a father who never lost his son.
Oh wow, yeah.
You know, somebody commented that on. I was listening to a really good rendition of Across the Stars on piano. Beautiful combination. What's your favorite Star Wars piece of music?
That might be it. That's impossible. That's impossible.
Again, yeah, I know, right? Right.
John Williams, man.
Chef's
kiss.
I know. And
it might be Across the Stars.
Yeah. I mean, Duel of the Fates. Come on, dude. Can't beat that. You can't beat Across the Stars. You can't beat the entire soundtrack of Revenge of the Sith. Is like the best thing ever. I listen to that all the time. And shoot, where were we even going with this? Oh yeah, I was like, now you can explain why you love Batman.
Oh, Batman. Well, to your point though, coming back to that again, it's the same thing from Wagner, Star Wars, that you made that cool connection, and back to Potter. So you've got Voldemort, who's essentially he's using pagan magic. Harry Potter's not.
No, he's not.
But Voldemort's the most powerful Dread Lord alive, possibly one of them ever, right? And it's like all of his power can't defeat the sacrificial love of a mother.
Yeah.
And that's when
it's pro-life story.
Yeah.
The boy who lived.
Yeah.
That's the affirmation of human dignity.
If that's not Christian.
Sanctity of human life. I don't know what is, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. right.
Yeah.
And obviously Father Ripburger, I love Father Ripburger, but the stuff he says about Harry Potter, I'm just like, did you even read the same story? Did you even watch the same movies? Like he said that the only, like, the message of the story is that you defeat evil by being nice. And I'm like, no, that's
sacrificial love.
Right. And I mean, that's the thing, all the characters, because another common criticism is that the characters don't really change much. They don't really go through a lot of art. I disagree with that. But even if that is the case, every single one of these characters had to make the decision, am I going to join Dumbledore's army or am I going to join Voldemort's army?
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's kind of like the city, you know, like the city of God. City of God, city of man, right? St. Augustine.
Yeah.
You know? You ever think about that?
I did not.
Yeah, because it's not like, by the time you're in Deathly Hallows, like,
they're forced to choose.
Yeah, there's no more sideline. There's no.
Yeah. Huh.
I mean, I think both sides are bad, but you know, if we get the right Minister of Magic in, he'll fix everything. You know, and then of course you realize that the Ministry of Magic was fake and controlled the whole time, and it was usurped in like literally like that.
Yeah.
Like, it was just completely fell.
Yeah.
Right. And so every character had to make the decision. Yeah, am I going to be on Dumbledore's side or Harry's side?
Yeah.
You know?
That's good, man.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to watch those videos.
Please, man.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm so proud of it. I had always, for the longest time, from when I was a kid in middle school, watching Red Letter Media, watching YMS, watching Ralph the Movie Maker, watching all these people, I was like, I want to do that, you know? And obviously, well, I guess not obviously, because not everyone is in my weird brain, but my computer's not really working right now, so I can't make this like highly edited content in the way that they would make, that I really wanted to embody. But then I'm like, you know what is stopping me from just putting I'm just putting my dang iPhone right there, and we're talking, you know?
This is human conversation.
This is human conversation, because human conversation is not edited, it's not chopped up, it's not just showing the highlights, you know, like, we're just talking, you know? And a lot of people are like, well, don't you want to cut out the the bits in the podcast that were kind of stale? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Maybe someone liked it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You never know. You know? Yeah, so Sirius is my favorite Harry Potter character, and then favorite Star Wars, probably Obi-Wan.
Yep.
Love Obi-Wan, you know, especially in that first movie.
Episode 1?
In episode 4.
Oh, okay. Really? Interesting.
Yeah, even if you... Because, I mean, his whole arc is fantastic, you know, but especially in that first movie, I mean, obviously he's like the old sage, you know, and he's like a Catholic monk mixed with samurai, mixed with knights, and he's got his space sword. Like, how's that not the cool, like a laser sword? That's like the coolest thing ever. And then I love how, like, Obi-Wan doesn't need to impress anybody.
Right.
He is just, everybody is frantic. Like, oh, how are we going to do this? And then Obi-Wan's just like, trust. And
Yeah.
force,
Yeah.
you know? And he doesn't need to impress anybody. He knows that he's not the savior of the galaxy. So he buys time for his friends and is willing to get in a stalemate with Darth Vader to buy time for everyone to leave. He doesn't need to be in the ending throne room scene in A New Hope. He doesn't need the medal to be recognized by everybody. You know, because he knows that's not what the Force has in plan for him. You know, he's
like
meant to be the sacrificial helper. You know, he's not the chosen one.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot that he had to go through. Failed Anakin, who was the chosen one, and kind of, you know, because that's what made Qui-Gon's death so tragic, right? It was a tragedy not only for Anakin, because he didn't get to be trained by Qui-Gon. Probably things would have gone a lot differently if he were.
Very much so.
But yeah, Obi-Wan lost his master,
Right.
you know, and obviously, like Obi-Wan and Anakin, a lot of times, like, people would criticize how, like, the dialogue and the interactions. I think a lot of that was kind of intentional, you know, because Obi-Wan, he lost his master before he could become a Jedi Knight, right? You know, like, he was just a Padawan, right? And so he lost his master when he needed him. And so then he has to assume this duty when he's not even a Jedi Master yet. And he's like, how am I going to live up to Qui-Gon? And of course, I don't know, have you seen the Tartakovsky Clone Wars? Not the CG animated, but the hand-drawn one.
From way back in the day?
The OG.
I saw it way back in the day.
You gotta rewatch that.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Really?
It's episode 2.5.
Okay.
I don't even really care for the CG Clone Wars. If you do, that's cool, but it just doesn't do it for me.
Okay.
The Tartakovsky Clone Wars has always been what was going on between episode 2 and 3.
Okay.
And so Anakin goes through his knighthood, right? It's a really cool, I'm not going to explain how they do it.
I haven't seen all that. No.
Yeah, you literally get to see how the Jedi knighted people. But of course, it's not canon anymore, but I don't care because it's my canon. Right?
Yeah, Disney's canon is...
I'm like, don't get too hung up on, well, this isn't canon or whatever. It still exists. It's Star Wars. Just enjoy what you enjoy. It doesn't matter.
If Lucas approved it, it's more canon to me than...
Right. But so Anakin gets called to the council room, and then he's with Obi-Wan, and he's like, yeah, I bet it's another scolding, right? And he's like, well, Anakin, you're not a little boy anymore. And he's like, yeah, you're right, I'm not. And as far as your wisdom goes, you're no Qui-Gon. And he's like, oh, shit. Like, but then Anakin's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he's like, yeah, you know, I wish he was here too. Yeah. You know, even Count Dooku said the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, Dooku is a really, really interesting character. I
wish they would have expounded on that more in the movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's why I like, because everyone says, oh, if you watch the Clone Wars, it makes the prequels better. But I'm like, the average dude does not have time to watch 6 seasons of a show. When the first 3 seasons of the show, nothing even happens in it. But that, I digress. But so it's nice to see the Tartakovsky Clone Wars, which is literally the length of a movie. It's 2 seasons. Each season is an hour each. So it's basically episode 2.5.
Okay, I will watch that.
It adds a lot of context. You see a lot of, like, you see Obi-Wan and Anakin's adventures. And also it even provides insight into the Sith stuff and the Sith sphere of things. Because you get Asajj Ventress.
Right, yeah.
Right, so you get that, and then you get a lot of also the like what Star Wars is so good at is accounting for every class of person, right? Because almost every type of person archetype is represented, right?
That's true. Yeah.
You have the religious side with the Jedi, the Sith. You have the political side, you know, with the Empire, Rebellion, the Republic and the CIS and whatnot, and then you also have the kind of bounty hunter mercenary side, you know, because like Han Solo is kind of like the cowboy spirit of America, right? And then Luke is like the the Midwest farm boy, you know, who had the greater calling to fight in World War II, right? Which was the stories that a lot of our forefathers would tell us of their experience going to fight in World War II. And then you also have like the goofy stuff like Jar Jar. I love Jar Jar. And I am being 100% unironic.
I get it, yeah. I
love Jar Jar.
Yeah.
My family and I, we quote him all the time.
Really?
Yeah, like if someone does something to like my dad or something, he'll go like, how, ooh. You know, this smells stinkaway.
I didn't hate him.
Oh, shoot. We're still good. We're balling. Let's go.
I didn't hate him because I was slightly younger when it came out.
Yeah.
But my son, when he was younger, that's his favorite character.
Yeah.
Again, Lucas is getting that new generation of fans.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he is funny.
Yeah.
I've never thought he was annoying. Like, it is really funny to see the contrast between like these super serious, like on a mission characters, and then he's just like, well, it is really funny.
He annoys the people in the movie, so that's the point. Yeah.
He actually does a lot of the stuff that they would not have been able to defeat the Trade Federation without Jar Jar. Because Jar Jar got them the transportation. He got them into the city. He did a lot of things, and people don't give him enough credit.
I think he's the medieval fool or jester, basically.
Yeah, he's a jester character. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
You know. Shoot, we were supposed to be talking about Batman still.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what's because I think you're familiar more with the Batman than I am, because I just kind of like the Nolan trilogy and then a couple of the one-off comics here and there, like Killing Joke and whatnot. But as a whole, I can't say I'm that familiar.
Okay, so I think you nailed it though when you said he's basically a medieval man. He's the Dark Knight, right? So
in the modern world,
in the modern world,
you know.
But even if you look at the aesthetics that are so appealing about Batman's Gotham City, Batman the Animated Series, it's literally Gothic architecture. Go back and watch that '90s animated series show.
Yeah, I've seen a few episodes.
Gothic architecture, but just in modernity, gargoyles and everything.
Yeah, that's why it's Gotham City. It's like a it's like a medieval city in the modern world.
Yep.
You know. And who's your favorite Batman villain?
Ah, man, you're asking some tough questions.
I know. I'm asking the real question. Yeah.
Philosophy is easier to answer than this. Who's your favorite Jedi? I don't know. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's like, does God exist? Oh, yeah. Who's your favorite Batman villain? Oh, gosh, dude.
Well, let me think about that.
You know, well, I mean, like the argument from contingency.
Yeah, Aquinas' first way is easier than this. I would say Egghead from the 1960s Adam West Batman.
Woo!
Literally Vincent Price with an egg on his head.
And what was his shtick? He was just the egg person?
He's smart. He's an egghead.
Okay, nice.
That's why he's an egg.
Nice,
and
nice.
There was one guy, he's, they called him, I don't know, his Dr. Time or something. But he literally has clocks everywhere. And he was invented to say the one line.
Oh, man.
Time's up, Batman.
This is cinema.
So stupid. Do you have a favorite Batman villain?
Oh, same, dude. Gosh, it's hard, but I'm actually going to throw a curveball at a lot of people. My favorite Batman villain is Scarecrow.
Okay.
I'm a huge sucker for movies and TV and just entertainment in general that is not horror per se, but incorporates a lot of horror elements.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like Harry Potter, right? Harry Potter, you cannot sit down and say, oh, yeah, that's a horror movie or a horror novel, but it's really got dark stuff in it.
True.
You know, like you were talking about with art in one of your newest videos, how there is a lot of dark motifs and aesthetics to a lot of medieval stuff, because they believe that yes, that is real, right? You can't just ignore that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you listen to a lot of Bach, it's very dark.
Sure.
But Bach also has a lot of happy stuff in it. Bach is just the master, man.
It's both.
He kind of explained. Jonathan Peugeot kind of talks about how his music literally explains all of reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, because he would write concertos, fugues, sonatas in every single key, major or minor.
Okay.
He wanted to account for every note, because he said that, well, I don't know if he said it per se, but he basically believed that, like, he's like, I want to find God in everything.
Yeah.
Like, every note has its place. Every note can be the focus, right? Because you know how, like, F, the key of F, it might just be one of the notes in the three note harmony, right? In like, you know, in a certain chord or something like that. But then like there's C major, right, where C is the dominant note, but then you have F major, right, and then you got G major, and then you got minors to that, and then you have like flats, you know, because reality is very diverse, right? It's very it's hard to just take in how whole encompassing it is, right, but it's still ordered, and you can find each note, you know, every note can be played.
I think that's another thing beautiful about Catholicism, is modernity, both with Christians and secular folks, they've tended to sterilize, I think, reality.
Yeah.
But Catholicism looks at the suffering in the world, the darkness in the world, and acknowledges it, but also with hope.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, there's always, oh gosh, yeah. Really good friend of mine passed away a few months ago.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I told him one time, we were in the youth group together, even though he was not a young man. I mean, it was like a outside of mass group, right? And it's for people of all ages, right? And one time I told him, he asked me, "How you doing, man?" I'm like, "I'm doing good," you know, because there's always something to be happy about, you know. And he's like, "Right." And every time we would greet each other after that, he would always tell me, "There's always something to be happy about, right? Yeah, let's go," you know. And I had to remind myself of that when he passed. There is, even if he's gone, there still is something to be happy about, you know, because I know that man loved Jesus with all his heart, soul, and mind, which Jesus says is the greatest commandment of all. I know he did that, you know, and I just pray that he's in heaven, you know. That's right. And I mean, obviously the whole thing, that's also something I wanted to ask you about, like the whole like Protestant thing where it's all about like at least from my purview, maybe you could give me some more insight of like the whole, oh, well, you're going to hell. This person's going to hell. If you do this, you're going to hell.
Yeah.
Right.
There's diversity within Protestantism, but that would be influenced by Reformed theology. So they take what the Catholics would say is the doctrine of original sin. And are those menthols?
No, Southern Cut.
Okay.
Go on.
I'm good.
Okay. I'm degenerate. Sorry, guys.
I don't know about that.
This is true Christian masculinity, right? Temperance. Oh, nope, don't need the cigarette. Even if it's a Southern Cut. Let's go, baby.
Not at all, man. But so they would take the original sin doctrine, and Calvin translated that into total depravity.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Which is sort of original sin without the hope and without the Thomistic goodness in humans.
Yeah, it's original sin without the original part, and it's just sin, and we just live in sin.
And all you've got is sin, yeah.
Yeah, and how like we're not, but that's just what's so saddening to me with Protestantism is like they get it half right, and it's like, I agree with you that,
close.
I agree with you that we are not good enough to get into heaven on our own.
Sure.
We are absolutely not.
Right.
But that does not bring you, ergo, human beings cannot accept God's love and live in persona Christi, right? In the person of Christ, right? But a thing a lot of people don't realize is Catholicism, in the afterlife, there's 4 realms, right? It's not just heaven or hell. There's heaven, hell, limbo, and purgatory, right? And then for a lot of people, that's a little eye-opening, you know, because I just thought it was just you're either heaven or hell.
Sure, yeah.
You know, and like when you die, you're sent to either place, and then that's it. And that's another thing that gets me with Calvinism and whatnot, is the whole thing about like, shoot, it's like you know how like for us, even if like how we believe how every human being in their last moments like could have repented, we don't know.
Sure.
Even the dude who jumped off the bridge, right, and is taking his own life, which the church teaches is a mortal sin, right?
Sure.
But you don't know if before that dude hit the water, he might have had second thoughts. You don't know.
Sure.
Right? You know, and also, I had a buddy who used to be Calvinist, and he asked his pastor, right, because his pastor was, you need to hear the gospel to be saved. And he's like, well, what about all these people that live on like all these remote islands that never heard? And he just told, they're in hell.
Yeah, some
and I'm like, what? And that's what he was like. That really just felt wrong. You know, like something's off. And obviously I know that it's not just about the feels. You have to think not just with emotions, but sometimes, you know, there is something about the emotional response. You get to something and it's like, something's wrong, you know?
I don't think it's I think it's not actually as high of a view as God as the Catholic view. So they would say, educated Calvinists would say that God elected, he knew in his providence who would choose him and who wouldn't. So he elected, the people who are not elect are born on those remote islands, will never hear the gospel.
Yeah.
And among those people who will hear the gospel are the elect.
Okay.
But I think that's a bit too philosophical and a little too strict. I think God is very loving and forgiving. And so,
the thief on the cross.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson talked about that.
Really?
Yeah, in his podcast with Joe Rogan.
So good. Yeah, I actually enjoyed that.
Yeah, he talks about how, like, you can see the thief on the cross, you see that God is very merciful.
Yeah.
God, right? Because, what I was trying to say with the Calvinism is that to them, it just feels like God's like a tyrant. When we believe that God does not send you to hell. You send yourself to hell. It's a choice.
Right.
You know? And that's blasphemy of the Holy Spirit, is you hate him so much, you would rather be miserable without him than be happy with him.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be happy with him.
Yeah.
But we can't be happy without him. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure you've experienced this, like when, you know, it's like once you see it, you have your burning bush moment where Moses, I mean, I'm not trying to compare myself to Moses, right? That's, but, you know, when you've seen Prince of Egypt, right?
A long time ago, yeah.
So you know how the way they do the burning bush, God shows him everything.
Oh, okay.
Moses sees everything. I mean, you don't see everything, but you could tell, like, the way his eyes are with the light of the uncreated light of God. You see that he sees everything, and it's like once you see that, you're just like, how do people not see this?
Wow.
You know?
Okay. That's
You're,
cool.
you're like, how do people not see that there is a God and he loves us, and he founded a church, and it's the Catholic Church.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. I think that's.
And it's the religion of mankind.
Yep.
You know?
It's universal.
It is the universal church. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's one thing in my personal life I've taken hope in, is that God is not only real, but he's so good and loving that even people who reject him and live so poorly or without him, even wicked life, or so confused,
you know?
about identity.
Yeah.
He's been so good to me and so merciful to me. In
Yeah.
all my struggles, he's been so gracious to me. And so that's why, like, to your point about mocking people, it's like you never know what that person's been through, why they feel, what they're lost in. And you never know, even before the moments of death,
No.
God comes to them, the grace of the Holy Spirit works in their heart and will, and he gives them another chance.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, for some people that want to bring the heat and blaspheme, it's okay to bring the heat to a certain degree with that, right? Because sometimes you kind of have to match the energy. Because obviously, if someone's blaspheming in front of me, I'm not going to hear that.
Sure.
Like, I'm sorry. I will just tell you, please don't say that.
That's totally fine, yeah. But you don't hate that person.
No, I don't hate anybody.
That's right, yeah.
Right? And that's really hard thing to overcome.
Right.
Right? Because you see all this evil in the world, and you're like, yes, like, God, please smite these wicked people.
Right.
You know, do it Old Testament style, you know? But then again, I just kind of realized, well, I mean, am I really that much better? You know?
Well, the way we live matters, so you might be living a better life. But
I try, you know?
that they could be, as the Apostle Paul was basically a blasphemer.
Kill Christians.
Right.
Yeah.
And look what God did for him.
I know.
Yeah, that's who God is. He's so good.
Yeah.
I keep saying in my videos, I love that phrase, not yet, from Gladiator.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically, I'll see you again, but not yet.
That's right.
I think a lot of us, by God's grace, maybe you can introduce me to your friend one day. I would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will.
Genuinely would.
Yeah, but with the Scarecrow, a little backtracking, I'm a sucker for particularly, like, the conflict where it's really psychological.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why Order of the Phoenix is my contender for best Harry Potter, just because it's all in the mind.
Okay.
Right? Because in the battle at the Ministry of Magic, Harry and Voldemort don't even touch wands. They don't even cast spells against each other. It's all in the mind. It's not the wand lock where it's Expelliarmus versus Avada Kedavra. It's literally mind control, right? And Harry, in his most devastating, embarrassing, most painful moment of his entire life, you could argue, you know, where Voldemort is just telling him all the Reddit atheist things, right? Of like, you know, you're not a real man, you're weak, you know, all those kind of things that are not true, right? But then he sees his friends come to help him and are there with him in his darkest moments. And he sees that and he's like, no, you know what, Voldemort? You're the weak one.
You're right.
Because you will never know love.
I think the movie might have done that better than the book.
It did, yeah. And that's actually why, for me, when I did my analysis, I was very explicit about how, like, because people are like, are you pulling from the movie or the book? I'm like, I'm doing both because they're the same work. I don't understand why books and movies need to be in contradiction to one another. I mean, there's one thing if it's Percy Jackson, right?
Oh my. Oh
Where that
my.
is not like the book
Oh my.
and does not embody the book really at all.
But you're analyzing the story.
Yeah, and is it the same story? Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Whereas Percy Jackson, is the story of the movies really the same as the books? No.
Have you seen the show?
No, I have not.
It's much better.
Okay.
Yeah, it might be worth checking out.
Okay. Just because a lot of like the production value of stuff coming out now, it just looks so
This isn't bad.
flat. Like I'm just,
yeah.
you know, like, and it just looks so unlike a movie. You know?
This is a show, so it looks like a really highly produced show.
Okay.
Yeah. But to your point.
Yeah. But that's the thing. And then with Scarecrow, you know, because he preys on everyone's biggest fears. You know,
Oh yeah.
like with and especially like the way it is in Batman Begins, like with how his design, you know, like just with the bag, it's so minimalist, but it gets the job done so
really
well.
does, yeah.
And the way his voice is altered, you know, and,
Yeah.
and then Batman's like, here's a freaking taste of your own medicine, doctor. And then he sees Batman and he's like this devilish,
Breaks.
you know, yeah, exactly. So you say, oh wait, no, actually, he's just as lame and pathetic as we are, you know, because that's why I love Halloween so much. Halloween's probably my favorite holiday.
Okay.
Because Halloween, very Christian holiday, despite what a lot of Christians might tell you. The whole point about dressing up as demons and whatnot and having all that imagery present is to remind us that there is nothing to be scared about. They are real.
You're mocking it.
You're making fun of it.
Yeah.
Because they really don't have any power when you think about it. We just give them the power.
I think when you glorify evil or murder or something like that could be problematic. But
Yeah.
you know, celebrating life and goodness. I like Halloween more as a Catholic.
Yeah.
All Saints Day.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, last year I had probably the best Halloween of my life.
Oh, good, man.
You know, yeah, my wife and I, we went over to my parents' house. We carved pumpkins.
That's great.
You know, because a lot of adults now, especially, we just feel like we don't have the energy to do any of this stuff. You know, but like, I'm like, carve a pumpkin, man. Have you ever carved up? Try it. It's fun. You know, I mean, mine looked terrible, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we had a great time. We watched The Adventures of Ichabod Crane. I don't know if you're familiar with
Disney
that.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From like the 40s
Yeah.
or 50s.
It's good.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool. People still know what that is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was always had you know, like talking about with like the Protestants with the culture and when there's that disconnect. For me, I was always surrounded in the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like we would always be watching Star Wars, Harry Potter, right? Always be you know, like we and I mean it's really just a Catholic thing. That and like alcohol, I always had alcohol in the house and whatnot. Sure. That was always normal to me. It was never like this mystical, oh, the alcohol.
Right.
You know, because I feel like when you have it like that, then of course kids are just going to want to do it more. Right?
Yeah, you're saying if you don't if it's a big no-no, then they might overindulge later.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a very big thing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, because I feel like it is good in a sense to go through that phase of the partying and the drinking. Not that it's good in and of itself, but to just get that out of your system so that you realize, okay, this is not all there is, and there's something greater.
Yeah.
You know, what was your college experience? Was it like frats and?
Oh, at that point, no,
I was
right?
locked. Yeah, I didn't go to state college.
Baptist.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I didn't do anything. Everything was wrong. I didn't have a microwave.
Didn't have a microwave? He got me.
It had channels on it. It was too TV-like. I'm kidding.
That's right. Yeah, too. Or like you were Amish, you know. Oh, it's too much technology, you know. Yeah, you know. Hey, yeah, that I had to get a truck over here to get that. Can't drink that, you know, because it's so connected to technology and whatnot. But yeah, and then Lord of the Rings again. Like, I mean, I don't even. The thing is, I don't talk as much about Lord of the Rings because I just don't really know what there is to say about it that hasn't already been said. Yeah. Because that has been talked about from a Catholic perspective to no end.
So.
Right, but less so with Star Wars and Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why I try to talk about those more.
Yeah.
And all these superheroes, right, and all these things, and that's why when I actually reached out to Roger to do this video, when we're talking about the you know, contrived divisions and the cultures and whatnot, and we think that like we're in a particular camp and that we can't associate with anyone outside of the camp. I mean, most people our age, we all grew up playing the same video games, watching the same shows and whatnot, listening to the same, like there's a common millennial Gen Z experience that you know that we have in common.
Right.
You know, I mean, I might not be able to quote scripture to connect with a lot of people, but I can quote Star Wars.
Yeah.
They know what I'm talking about.
Voldemort doesn't want you to know that, man.
I know, exactly. Voldemort does not want you to know that.
Right.
That's why, did you ever notice how in Harry Potter, it's always the ministry, it's always Defense Against the Dark Arts. That's the class that's always subverted. Always have their industry plan in there because they don't want kids to learn how to actually combat evil. Right? I mean, Harry only has a legit teacher for the Defense Against the Dark Arts in Prisoner of Azkaban.
Right.
But he's broken too.
Yeah.
You know, he's a werewolf. And, you know, and the Marauders kind of map up, no pun intended, to the different kind of fates of like Gen X. You know, have you ever thought about that? Like, and because Gen X and Gen Z, we can relate a lot, you know, because growing up in the 70s and whatnot. And a lot of Gen X have, you know, like they're broken in a lot of the same ways we are, you know?
I actually think those two generations are very similar.
Yeah, and then everyone compares the millennials to the boomers.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
That's crazy.
Well, because a lot of millennials' parents were boomers.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think, but see, even that, there's I want to come back to what you were saying, but amongst boomers, there's some radically conservative ones.
Yeah.
And then there's some radically left, hippie, feminist types.
That's right.
There's a lot of diversity.
But they're more cohesive as like an identity, I would say, than the other generations.
That's right. Monoculture.
Yeah. And then the millennials, like what do you think is the funniest millennial stereotype? Like how everything has to be ironic.
I hate the irony. Everything's so drenched.
You can't take anything seriously because you can't give that too much of a shit about something because then if it fails you, then your world's done.
Which Gen X did a little bit of that, but it's the cynicism. Yeah, that is a problem. And my humor can be ironic, but I'm even doing that ironically. Like I think sincerity. There's a lot of value to that.
Yeah.
Which it's not cringe to be sincere.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
You know? And for me, like growing up with like the, you know, like what was the mentality that they were teaching us and whatnot, I feel like for us, it was more so, it wasn't really like, yeah, you're the best, go out, become a rock star. It was more so, oh, you give a shit about something? Lame.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I had some of that.
Like being too, like that was cool. Seen as uncool.
Yeah.
You know, like when it came to anything.
That was a thing in the late 90s, 2000s.
Yeah, just everything has to be, you really care about all that stuff, man.
But I do see cynicism about, you know, pop culture in the West. It's become pretty consumerist and hedonistic, so.
Yeah.
But you don't need to be cynical about things that actually matter, like
you don't.
Like love or nature.
I know. Yeah, or friends and family.
Right.
Beauty.
Virtue.
Right. That's why I tell people, like, you gotta listen to classical music.
Yeah.
Because classical music is 100% no bullshit.
It'll wake you up.
It will wake you up. It's beautiful. It's so vivid what it's trying to capture.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of music now, why it doesn't really connect with me, it's not because I feel like, I have better taste than anyone else. I just listen to classical music because it's beautiful and I just love it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to LARP as
who's your
anything.
favorite?
My favorite composer?
Yeah.
Bach.
It is Bach. Okay, that makes sense.
Without a doubt.
Okay.
I don't even think anyone comes close.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, there's a lot of other composers I love and are in that kind of Mount Rushmore for me. That Mount Rushmore being Bach, Vivaldi, Mozart, and Beethoven.
Sure.
But it's just something about Bach's, like how prolific he was.
Yeah.
How much good music he wrote, and all the variety.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination that there was a lack of variety amongst the other three composers, but they just didn't have that range, I don't think.
I think so.
You know, and like Bach wrote concertos, he wrote sonatas, he wrote fugues, he wrote sacred music for Mass.
Sure.
Back when Protestants still had Mass.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I wish they could see that. I do think a lot of young evangelicals are realizing the fall from even the Reformation, because it's startling. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's no Bach today. There's no, even the Anglican Church, not to be cruel, but it's in Lewis's day, he didn't become Catholic because being an Anglican seemed like a valid option.
It seemed like it was good enough.
Yeah.
It was pretty reverent, you know, you got your cool organ music and your sacred choirs, and the vestments look kind of cool.
Yeah.
The churches were beautiful, because a lot of them used to be Catholic.
Be Catholic without the Pope.
Exactly.
But now, I'm pretty sure he would be Catholic.
If
you were alive today.
I think so, yeah. But again, with like, I'm like, just listen to beautiful music, watch beautiful movies,
Yeah.
read beautiful stories, look at beautiful paintings.
Sure, yeah.
Go to Italy. That place is the most beautiful place on planet Earth, dude.
Right.
I don't even know what else you could say. I mean,
Right.
Europe in general.
Yeah.
And yet it has no culture. What are people talking about?
Yeah.
If white people don't have culture, I don't even know who freaking does, dude.
I hate sayings like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, you give
your
every other civilization a chance, rightfully so, because humanity
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you can get that close to the truth without the gospel is very impressive and a testament to human greatness.
Right.
Because we're made by a God who is great.
That's right.
So absolutely, God is going to put that in everyone.
I like that you said that.
Because I mean, every culture has some sort of account of a global flood.
That's right.
Right. So obviously, I think Jay Dyer talked about this, how a lot of these pagan mythology and these pagan religions, it's still the gospel, just a little jumbled.
Dyer said that. That's good.
Yeah, because I mean, they have accounts of a creation story.
Yep, that's right.
A flood, right? And almost every culture has some kind of concept of the slaying of the serpent.
That's right.
Right? Jormungandr.
Yep.
Where Thor in Ragnarok will put once and for all smite the sea
Voldemort.
serpent. Yeah, the basilisk.
Yeah.
And with the sword of Gryffindor.
Sigurd in the Norse.
Exactly. Yeah, and so Thor will defeat Jormungandr, the sea serpent, the legendary sea serpent of Norse mythology that wraps around the entire world. Time, right? Cyclical time.
You give me hope for Gen Z, man. The fact that you even know what these things are.
I'm like, dude, just learn things. That was the biggest problem with school growing up. Not the school I went to here, but I'm talking about like diocesan Catholic school, where it's basically just kind of public school with a religion class tacked on.
Okay.
I'm not saying it wasn't a great school. It absolutely was. I love all the people I went to school with there, but it's just the way school in general now is just about getting the grade, passing the test.
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember anything that you studied for to get the good grade? No? Okay, then what's the point of this? I don't care. I mean, I made C's and D's, dude. Does that really matter? I don't think it does.
So do some of the smartest people in history. But I think one problem is public school, if they teach mythology or the Western tradition, they can't teach it from within it. They have to teach it sort of above it, as though they're looking at it through a microscope.
Yeah, because like we're past that.
On an equal plane with everything else. And it's like, no, this is the tradition on which our way of life was built.
Yeah, remember in Deathly Hallows when Dumbledore leaves the Sword of Gryffindor in his will to Harry, and the Minister of Magic is like, well, no, you can't have that because, I mean, it's just like a historical artifact that belongs in a museum, right? When it's not. It's a living
sword.
It's a living inheritance. It's what Harry needs to defeat evil. It's like the church, dude.
Yep, that's good.
We need the church to defeat the evil of the times, but it's always, people think of the church as just, well, that's just what we did like back then. The church isn't a real thing now. So is it really? How is it not gone? If it's really that, if it's a failure, if it's really corrupt, the West has fallen, how is the Catholic Church not gone now? How is it not, how is St. Peter's, how has it not been just blown off of the face of the earth? It has not been, and it will never be.
Supposed to die out 300 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
When I went to Notre Dame with my wife in Paris, I went there as though it was a museum, as though it were a museum.
Right.
And I was shocked to see a living community of people going to Mass. And it shocked me, but it was also inconvenient for me. But it's like, oh, this is a living religious tradition. This is interesting.
yeah. Like when we went to Rome, because I sang in the choir.
Oh, really?
Right. Yeah. I love to sing. I love playing music. I play guitar, piano. Love music. I've always loved music. I did dance classes. Of course, everyone thought I was gay. I'm not. But yeah, I danced ballet. I danced tap. I danced jazz, and I danced contemporary. I've always been involved in the arts. Like my brother was a pianist. My mother was a teacher, and my father would always have classical music playing.
Yeah.
So like when I would be waking up, there was always something like Vivaldi playing, and like I just always had this ingrained in my subconscious.
Yeah.
Right. I was always surrounded by beauty, and obviously, again, my father, he's not listening to that because he's trying to LARP as something that he's not. he just genuinely believes the music is beautiful, and he wanted to share that with his kids.
Fantastic.
You know? And so when we went to Rome, right, for the school field trip, Catholic school takes, field trips to Rome. We were in the church of, it was either Santa Maria Maggiore, St. Mary Major, or it was the church of San Luigi, St. Louis. It's the French parish in Rome, dedicated to the various saints of France, right? And obviously the patriarch of France itself, St. Louis, King of France, right? The Crusader King.
Not the 14th.
The 9th.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. No, past that was not saints. Still some good ones, but not, not really holy men.
No.
So we were it was either one of those two churches, and we sang sacred music in the church, and the usher loved it so much, and he's like, can you please sing that again?
Wow.
And the priest talked about how good of a thing it was that we can go to Rome and keep it as if, like, it's not just a museum, it's a living faith. It's the epicenter of our religion.
Yeah.
And
our way of life.
Yeah, Rome is nicknamed the Eternal City.
Right.
And if you haven't gone to Rome, I mean, if you're a Catholic, that's like being a Muslim and you don't go to Mecca.
Right.
I mean, obviously, we don't believe that you have to go to Rome to be saved in the way that Muslims kind of believe that with Mecca. But, like, you just kind of have to do it.
Yeah.
And you see all of these places where the apostles were martyred. Like, I literally saw the cell that Saints Peter and Paul were held at. And I'm like, how could you see all this and be like, oh yeah, this was all made up?
We're not aware of it over here.
No, we're not.
We're so disconnected from that.
No.
By design. But I think that might be part of why you talk about your positive attitude. If you've been surrounded by beauty your whole life from childhood, you just know beauty is real.
I do.
Yeah.
I really do. And and like the dancing, I'm like, why does that have to be gay? But dancing, that's like,
it's so silly.
It's such a beautiful way to express like just the beauty of the human body, how we can do all of these cool, intricate movements, with like our whole body. You're moving your whole body.
Right.
And that's why sports, St. Pope John Paul II talks about how sports is the battleground of the virtues. Did you play sports growing up?
Yeah.
What was your favorite sport?
To play was soccer, definitely.
Okay.
How about you?
Well, I mean, I always played them, but I was never really good at them. And then I kind of stopped playing them for a while because I just thought it wasn't for me. But playing was always basketball.
Okay.
I always
you
loved.
Still play it?
I still do, yeah. Even though I have not gotten any better, I'm still terrible. I can't dribble. I can't do really anything. But it was always just so fun to get together at lunch with people that had a common interest with me. And we might have disagreed about blah, 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 right?
Right.
Because I was actually in middle school in 2016.
Okay.
Right, so that's when all of that stuff was
I'm old.
happening. You're right. Right, and so a lot of the guys who play basketball, we probably disagreed on a lot of things, but like it didn't matter because we were there to play basketball, man.
Right.
We're there to play basketball, right? That's and same thing with Smash, right? Like when I go play at George Mason, I'm sure a lot of these guys are probably not Catholic, right?
Right.
But we're here to play Melee because we all love Melee.
Right.
Right? That's just what's so frustrating about like how everything needs to be politicized. Everything needs to be, like you're either in this group or that group, right? You have to pick a side, right? But it's so insidious though, because yes, of course you have to pick a side, right? Christ or the devil, right? But it's like you don't, it's false divisions, right? Of like Republican versus Democrat and whatnot, you know?
Yeah, so I think
or whatever it is.
We're being divided 1,000 ways.
Oh shoot.
By gender, men and women pitted against each other, generation,
race,
which even, boomers and, Gen Z, well, you can find something in common if you're American. Less and less, but you can still find things. But it's almost like we're divided arbitrarily 1,000 ways, and it seems to be by design to me.
Oh yeah, literally in the Voldemort files, they literally talked about how, we're going to create this culture war thing, to pit people against each other. It was literally by design. Yeah. But it's so sad how the fact that murdering children in the womb has to be turned into a thing about politics. right?
Yeah.
Like,
and sides. Yeah.
yeah. And it's just, yeah, the fact that we even need to argue about that,
Right.
you know? And a lot of the movies, you know, you go and watch them, they are pro-life, like Harry Potter. I don't know if you ever seen Meet the Robinsons.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Yeah, that is a
Great
really
movie. Underrated.
great pro-life story, right? Where the main character, Wilbur, I think his name is, right? Where he's an orphan and he's a teenager and he's just like, I don't think I'm ever gonna get adopted. Well, you know, and then he gets the demons in his head telling him, oh, well, my mother left me, nobody cares for me, you know, and he wants to just give up.
Right.
You know, and a lot of people go through that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but then he goes back in time with his son, who he doesn't know he's his son, and then he sees, wait, like, I would be giving up all of this,
Right.
you know?
Such a good movie.
Right. And obviously you can find a family if you don't have your biological family.
Right.
I mean, optimally, you want to have your biological family because that's you,
Right.
you know? Like, you are of your father's nature, right? And a lot of guys just don't feel comfortable talking to their fathers, or maybe their father's in jail, you know? Or maybe their father's not even around. Maybe he's passed away.
It's a lot of that.
Yeah.
I think that's another generational thing too. There's not that you can slander an entire generation, but I think a lot of guys, a lot of guys my age feel like they can't even call their father about anything serious. There's no.
Yeah, and if you do talk to your dad, it's just about like, hey, I need this or something like that. Like, it's not
If
really
he's there, he's just.
if he is, yeah. You know, and also, I mean, even some of like people's grandpas gone from Vietnam,
Right.
you know. I don't know, like, did you have family members serve in like Vietnam, World
Sure.
War II, or anything like
Yeah,
that?
one grandfather fought the Japanese in World War II,
Oh wow,
and the other fought in Vietnam.
wow.
Yeah, they're good men in their way.
They made it back.
Yeah, my grandfather died with shrapnel in his back from the Japanese. He lived with his entire life. It was so deep they couldn't get it out. It wasn't worth the trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
He didn't talk about it much, but the stories I heard is he lost some friends pretty brutally.
Yeah, yeah.
But he came back, and in my life, he was a gentle giant, Southern Baptist deacon,
Yeah.
and
The best type of
Southern Baptist.
the best part of Baptist culture you could think of.
Yeah,
you know?
just a Southern gentleman.
Yeah.
I think, I said, looking back, God put certain people in my life to help me in ways I couldn't see at the time. He's one of them.
Yes, and obviously God doesn't show you gold and give you silver, right?
Yeah,
A priest told me that one time.
that's good.
Yeah, and it's so true, you know, because we think, well, why did God show me this person and then take them away from me?
Right.
Well, because that's what God wanted, you know? Maybe if they lived longer, you would have had a falling out. You don't know.
Right.
We don't know.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you got to trust in God. You have to
Right.
realize that we are not in control. We want to be in control so bad, dude.
Right.
I want to, you know, we want the ring. We want the ring of power. We
Right.
want to transcend the bounds of time and space. We don't want to be bound by anything. When in reality, like, just by our nature, we are. Because when you're born, you're not really an individual. I mean, you are, but when you're born, you're a son
Right.
or a daughter, a cousin maybe, brother, sister, right? Grandchild, right? Like, we're part of a story memory, right? And that's what Harry goes through, you know, like in Prisoner of Azkaban, when he time travels. What that's really trying to say is that we, in a sense, time travel when we realize that we are connected to a story, right? We're descended from real human beings, right? And they wanted something for us,
Right.
and we need to continue that
Yes, sir.
journey, you know. And obviously now a lot of guys with their parents a lot of guys now with their parents that just didn't pass that on to them,
Right.
And I mean, all that started with the boomers, right?
Yeah, post World War II.
Yeah, and because obviously another good thing Jay said, where he's like, you know, old people are supposed to be like the sages walking around in togas giving people the knowledge and wisdom and all that, but now old people are just like a bunch of wrinkly teenagers.
Correct.
Yeah, talk about summarizing the boomer generation.
Not all of them.
No, not all.
But a whole lot of them are just, honestly, they're children.
And I mean, it's not just the boomers, man.
No, it's millennials.
It's
some
Gen Z too.
Yeah.
You know.
We have generations of children.
Yeah, just because of that severance of the roots, the severance of inheritance.
Right.
You know, because Harry's been robbed of his inheritance.
Right.
He's been robbed of his mother and his father. Right. That's like the most basic human right, I believe, on the entire planet. Is that every human being has the right to grow up with a mother and a father that loves them, and to be conceived out of that loving relationship.
Yeah.
Right, because Voldemort was not conceived out of a relationship between two, like a man and a woman who loved each other.
Yeah.
Right. He was conceived from a one-night stand. Right.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right. And he never had that. Right. And obviously
he killed his father, didn't he?
He did, and he framed it on his uncle.
Right. Okay.
Yep. And he despised his father. You know, like what he was.
Those books are so good, man.
Yeah, because remember in Chamber of Secrets, when he's in the chamber, right, and then he realized, oh wait, this dude I've been talking to this whole time is Voldemort. Oh my gosh, he's been on ChatGPT the whole time, right? Like the Tom Riddle's diary,
right?
Right. You can write anything in it. It gives you a response. It tells you what you want to hear. And so then he, you know, like he's like, oh wait, you're Voldemort. And he's like, you really think I would keep my filthy Muggle father's name?
Right.
I fashioned a new name that I would, you know, proudly call myself when I became the greatest sorcerer in the world. And Harry's like, no, Albus Dumbledore is the greatest sorcerer in the world. And that's what I love about Harry. Harry never says that, oh, I'm the greatest one, I'm the chosen one, I'm the boy who lived, I'm the greatest. And he's like, no, it's Dumbledore, dude.
Yeah.
He is the greatest sorcerer of all time. You know, and he defends Hagrid when Tom Riddle dismisses him as a stupid oaf. Harry's like, don't you dare say that about Hagrid. Don't you dare say that about my friends.
Yeah.
You know, and then Tom Riddle says that, you know, because of course Dumbledore getting kicked out of Hogwarts, it's a lot like, you know, how Christ and the church are kicked out of society. You know, like there's no religion is not taught in schools. You know, you don't learn the gospel or anything.
No.
Right? And so Tom Riddle boasts and tells him, Dumbledore was literally driven out of this school by the mere memory of me.
That's so good.
Right, and then Harry tells him the most badass rebuttal of all time. He tells him he'll never be gone.
Yeah.
Insofar as that there are people here who are loyal to him. And what happens after he says that? Fox comes swooping in to give him the Sorting Hat, which produces the Sword of Gryffindor, right? He put his complete trust in Dumbledore. He wasn't like he never threw Dumbledore under the bus, even if it was really tempting to do so.
Sure.
Learning about all his backstory and it's like, why did you not tell me all this stuff, Dumbledore? Right. What's going on? Were you really that guy? I don't know, but he's just like, and Ron's like, come on, man, like he didn't even tell you where to start with getting these Horcruxes. He's like, I still trust him though. He gave me all I needed to know, you know, and he's never really gone. Nor is Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's still with Luke.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, he tells him, Luke, trust in the Force. Yeah. You know, he hears the memory.
That was like an echo of the saints in Catholicism, I think.
Oh yeah, and talk about the saints, like when Harry's in the Forbidden Forest in Deathly Hallows. Like his family and his friends that have passed away literally appear before him. It's like there's heaven in Harry Potter. Like you have to, like there's a fate that your soul goes for, and your soul needs to be aligned with the good.
Right.
You know, you need to be on the side of Dumbledore, Hogwarts, right? The Weasleys. Oh man, the Weasleys are just
those
the best,
are some of
man.
my favorite characters, honestly.
Oh man, the Weasleys are just the most loving family. Like they're just the ideal family. Tons of kids.
They're Irish Catholics, is what they are.
They are. Yeah, I talked about that. They're very. Not necessarily that they're Irish Catholics, but I should have said that. But they're very traditional. Yeah. You know, and obviously they might be pureblood or so to speak, but that doesn't make a difference to them, right? Yeah. Arthur Weasley, right? When Lucius Malfoy's like, oh, come on, man. You're a disgrace to the name of wizard, and you don't even get paid for it. And Arthur Weasley's like, I have a very different idea of what disgraces the name of wizard, because he doesn't care. Right. Right? And he's fascinated by Muggle stuff, right? He's like, Harry, what is this thing? Like, what is that? He wants to know. It's like Tarzan, you know? I want to know about the strangers like me.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You know, remember that song?
Yeah.
I want to know.
Nailed it.
Can you show me? Yeah, exactly. I want to know about the strangers like me, because he sees that, okay, we're different, but there's something between us. Like, we have something connected, and I want to know what their thing is, you know?
You just sang Phil Collins, which is a connection point between Gen Z and boomers.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, but like, you know, that's what I'm saying. A lot of times I feel like I'm Tarzan, right? When exploring these different cultures, you know, like I want to know. Can you show me?
That's right.
You know, you're human beings too. What are your answers? What do you guys eat for dinner? What do you guys like what is your creation story? What is your myth, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel a lot like Arthur Weasley. I feel a lot like C-3PO.
Okay.
Those are my three kind of I'm no Jedi. I'm no Numenorian. I'm no Aragorn.
We're not the Dumbledores.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
You know, because I'm obviously, yeah, we want to be Dumbledore. We want to be Gandalf. We want to be.
Everybody needs a Sam.
That's true.
Everybody needs a Hagrid.
And thankfully, I have all that in my life. You know.
Thank God.
That's right. You know, because remember in Prince of Egypt, right? When Moses, like, he killed a man, and you know, and his brother Ramses is like, well, no, it's okay. I am the morning and the evening star, right? If I say it never happened, it never happened. But Moses is like, it did happen though.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, nothing you say can change that. You know, like natural law, right? Like, we all have some semblance of the good because it's written on our hearts, right? And then when he's in the desert and then he finds Jethro, right, and the Jewish tribe there, right? And so Jethro was like, well, who are you, man? What's your story? And he's like, I don't have anything worth telling. There's nothing good I've ever done. And he's like, that's not true, man. Right? Because you can't look at your life through the eyes of man. You must look at your life through heaven's eyes. And he tells him, do you think the one thread in the tapestry is any less important than anything in the grand design? We all have a purpose, you know? Like, I don't know if you're familiar with Cool Cat.
You got to remind me.
That's what YMS, that's what kind of put him on the map. His review of Cool Cat, which was kind of like Barney the Dinosaur.
Okay.
But with like none of the good stuff.
Okay.
It was really like just bizarre and goofy and not good, right?
Oh no.
But there is still some really good things. And Cool Cat, he's like, you know, I think every kid has something special inside of them. They just need to discover what it is, you know? And that's why I love children's stories so much, you know?
Yeah, I prefer kids fantasy to most adult stuff out there.
Yeah, I mean, I tried getting into like Game of Thrones. I just couldn't get into it. There's a lot of people who are Catholic, and I respect their opinions, that tell me I should watch it and or read it. And I think I might eventually, but it's just, it'll never be just throwing Lord of the Rings on again, man. You know? It'll never beat it.
But I think the world, the
Go
morality,
back to the abyss from which you came.
One is very thoroughly Catholic, and one is a modernist take on Catholicism, I think.
Yes.
Same thing with Dune.
Dune actually is, it's interesting because there is some Catholic elements to it. I mean, Frank Herbert was Catholic.
Sure.
I mean, he abandoned the faith, and he kind of got into like Zen Buddhism, you know.
Popular with his age.
Yeah. But he incorporated a lot of Christian elements to it because obviously, like Paul Atreides is very much embodies like the Moses story, right?
However.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's kind of like a dark Christ, right?
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, Anakin's very much like a dark Christ.
Sure.
Right? He gets rejected by the council, right? He storms the temple.
Right.
Right, even though he's... Yeah, what's your opinion on him killing the younglings? Did you think that was necessary?
I think it could have been done better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the story is brilliant and meaningful and resonates and is beautiful. And it's probably helped people like me. I think the writing and the execution wasn't always successful.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
But what Revenge of the Sith has that the other two don't have is that there's this real sense of urgency to it, you know? Every scene, like, I'm really into it.
Because you had to squeeze all the plot into one movie.
That is true.
I'm not kidding.
Well, some people think that he should have just done Revenge of the Sith and that was it.
Yeah.
You could have done that, but I love Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones too much to dismiss them. I love the romance. I think it's hilarious because it really does embody Gen Z relationships and millennial relationships.
See, I was gonna say,
with the awkwardness, you know, and they're talking about politics, you know. Right? Did you ever think about that?
I did not.
And then it's like the whole like, oh wait, we need to be aware of the radicalization of men, you know.
Okay.
And he's like, because he kind of says that he supports fascist dictatorship.
He kind of does.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
If it works.
If it works. And she's like, are you sure? Yeah. Right. Right, and then they're rolling around in the grass, you know, and then like with those weird potato creatures. I love that.
I was just the right age when that came out. That all that was. I mean, I was getting into the dating age, kind of. I was approaching it, so
everybody wanted Padme. Bro.
It was
she was the
with me.
hottest chick on the block. Dude.
Well, even just the beauty of the courtship of it, because
Naboo, it's like space Italy.
Well, yeah. So
Yeah.
everything was so degrading and overly sexualized, like in millennial culture.
Yeah,
which I think was
and
by
in
design.
ours too. You know,
it's sad. But then
it's
I
so
saw
sad.
this,
Again, all this sexual stuff. Would you do that to Jesus? No, you would not.
No.
No, and even people that are not Christian would agree.
Right.
Yeah, I would not do that.
Unless you're Madonna.
Which we don't even need to get into that now, but exactly.
The beauty of the courtship and the feminine and the masculine, and she's in a beautiful dress, he's masculine, and they're just out in nature and beauty talking to each other. I mean, this is
just having a genuine experience,
yeah.
you know? And of course, I'm like, why the hell did the council let a young man with raging hormones go? If anything, it would make more sense to send Obi-Wan to protect him. But then again, I mean, obviously, okay, yeah, I don't necessarily trust Anakin with this high-level intelligence work of discovering this conspiracy stuff with Master Sifo-Dyas.
Yeah.
Right? So that makes sense. But then again, I'm just like...
Could have sent a female Jedi.
You could have done that, right? Why didn't you send Master Luminara?
Her breakup dress. Her friend zone dress.
The friend zone dress, yeah, where it's like the most... Oh my gosh.
I don't love you, we're just friends.
You're in my very soul. Tormenting me.
I don't like sand.
But, I mean, hey, he's not wrong. It is coarse and rough and irritating, and it does get everywhere.
Okay, so that's my problem.
He's relatable, man.
I gotta break this off soon, but I will say that the dialogue in the sequels didn't make sense to me. The dialogue in the prequels was bad dialogue, but it made sense.
Because we're very awkward in real life, and we can relate to that.
Well, it made sense why he didn't like sand. It reminded him of slavery, bondage, his mother dying.
Yeah.
That's why. So it meant something. It just wasn't well written. That's it.
Yeah, and I'm sure for him, he had never seen anything outside of Mos Espa on Tatooine. For him to come and see Tatooine to see Naboo was like, oh my gosh.
Right.
And it's like, oh, this is the queen, like the apex of femininity of this culture.
Right.
Dang, dude. You know, and that's another thing with like, you know, these franchises like Star Wars, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, is like not only do they have wonderful masculine role models, we can all agree on that, they also have wonderful feminine role models.
Yeah.
You know, even, I mean, everyone likes to shit all over Padme because she's just boring and but I'm like, no, she wants the best for her people. She genuinely believes that the system works.
Yeah,
you know,
I prefer that character to a lot of modern female characters.
That it's just they're just doing everything that men do. They just have boobs. Like that's literally all it is. Yeah. That actually is degrading to women.
It is.
You know, because they
literally is.
They literally only see women and men too just by the body parts.
That and these women are only valuable so much as they can imitate men.
Yeah, it's so materialistic.
It is.
You know, it's so sad.
They reject gender roles, but they hype them up and use them. Did you hear Lucas's thought on, because the sequels added more strong female characters? Did you hear Lucas talk about that?
I did not.
He was a little frustrated. He's visibly angry.
He may have gone a little far in a few places.
He said, are you kidding me? Have they seen the originals? You got Mon Mothma, you got Princess Leia.
Yeah, Princess Leia.
Are you kidding? Like, no powerful female characters.
Oh yeah, and then you get Master Luminara,
right?
Barra Sophie, you know, and then Harry Potter, you have Professor McGonagall.
Right.
Oh my gosh, dude, she's awesome. And you got Hermione, and Hermione,
of
course, she dismisses Ron like, oh, I don't want to be with this stupid oaf man.
Right.
But when push comes to shove, she falls for the masculine man. Did you ever think about that?
Which is what happens in real life.
Yes, exactly.
Lana Del Rey married like some country boy from the swamps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this is hilarious.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, I know the marriage between Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez didn't last very long, but when she got married, she decided to change her last name, and everyone gave her shit for it, but she's like,
why would you do that?
I know, but she's like, you know what? It just feels more romantic.
Yeah.
You know, like, we are one. I am, you know, like, we're together. Exactly. And of course, the marriage only lasted for like a year. But even so, that was good. And I was like, I agree with Jennifer Lopez on that, you know? And then in Lord of the Rings, obviously, like, Galadriel, she's literally Mary.
She's Mary.
You know? She's Mother Mary. Like, every character just has the utmost reverence to Galadriel. And do you think Gandalf is like this manosphere guru who's so insecure about his masculinity. Like, do you think he feels less of a man because he bows down in front of Lady Galadriel? No.
Right.
You know, he's like,
Yeah,
my lady.
My lady, yeah.
It's like, it's Mary, right? Do you think, like, that's why I'm like all these manosphere gurus with like the Catholicism where people say that we're toxic and masculine. I'm like, hello,
Right.
Mary. We revere women. What are you talking about?
I do think there's some chauvinism in some parts of Protestant culture, and not in a good way, like negative chauvinism.
Right.
But yeah, you got Catholicism presents Mary. I mean, some of the doctors of church are females.
Yeah. Saint Therese, Saint Teresa of Avila.
And I think Tolkien had no idea, but I think he did more to help evangelize people, millions of people, at least help them understand Catholicism. When I watched the movies, I had no idea they were Catholic until years later. But it intrigued me. It's like, this is a beautiful, mystical view of the world. Mm-hmm. And then later you see how much symbolism is straight Catholic.
Yeah, and I love how Tolkien, he said that I didn't want to make it explicitly Christian.
Right.
He obviously puts that in there, but he didn't want to alienate anyone else because he just wanted to create a good story, because the gospel is just a good story, you know? You know, and I mean, C.S. Lewis said that Christ is the myth that completes all myths.
That's right, yeah.
Right? Because, like, why do you think that there's churches in Iceland that incorporate in the tapestries and the artwork images from the sagas, the Icelandic Norse pagan sagas?
Yeah.
Because that was the precursor to the gospel.
I love that.
You know, and that's why this whole mentality of, oh, well, I don't read or watch Lord of the Rings because, like, that's pagan and magic. No, that's not how Christians thought historically.
No, it's not.
No, he's like St. Paul, when he's preaching to the Greeks, right? He mentions Hades, right? He mentions a lot of these things because he knows them, right? And that's like the Jesuits, right? Like, historically, like, when they, you know, went out in the world, like in Asia and whatnot, Latin America, they would learn the culture, they would learn the language to really get, like, you know, like, because it's like, well, how am I gonna teach them about what I believe if I don't even know what they believe?
Right.
Right. I mean, I have a Hindu friend, right? And I went to Hindu temple, right? And I love this guy. He's just the most respectful, proper gentleman, you know? And that's why I can't stand all this, like, anti-Indian grifting, you know, people that just want to shit all over Indians, you know?
Really? I'm not even aware of it.
Well, like, you know, like in like the new right spheres.
Right? Oh, well, yeah. Yeah.
Right, like a lot of like the anti-Indian sentiment.
Okay.
And like people dismiss it as, oh, well, it's just a third world country where people just shit in public and what. I'm like, there's way more to India than that.
Especially in the past.
Oh, yeah, even now.
Yeah.
And like what I love about India and Hinduism, like Hinduism is really cool in that, like, it's a religion of the elite and of the people. You know, it has a way of being, because it accounts for all of society, right? With the caste system, as abusive as that could have been. I'm not sure entirely. I need to look into more of that, but it's just like,
hence the birth of Buddhism,
right? But then again, I mean, when it comes, I mean, even in our own Western culture, right? In the Middle Ages and in, you know, like up until very recently, right? There was like this hierarchical structure to society, and we look at that as being very mean. But then again, it's like, it gives everyone something to do, right? Because nowadays people don't know what the hell they're doing.
I think we just replaced it with another hierarchical system.
So, right, because there's still money to lead.
Yeah.
And they're not accountable to anything.
You still have elite classes who are less accountable.
There will always be.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, obviously back in the day, they're like, the elite, the reason they didn't work was because they had to spend all their time studying the classics, being in the courts, they're studying under their fathers. Because, but the thing is, they didn't choose that.
Right.
It's a sense of duty, right? Because why do you think that, like, Amazon employees are treated worse than feudal peasants? Right? I mean, people don't even think about that. It's because there is no, like, because the problem with a lot of, like, capitalism and whatnot, it's this whole, like, well, I deserve this, you know, like, it creates entitlements, right? Like, well, I did all this, I worked so hard and whatnot. Where it's like, now it's like, do you really think there's really any honor in being rich anymore? I'm not saying that there isn't, but it's something that people need to think about. Whereas back in the day, if you had money, you used that to help people.
I would genuinely not want to be ultra rich nowadays. Like, I it doesn't seem to be good for humanity.
No, and then
For that individual
sorry,
who is rich, it doesn't seem to be good for them,
no.
for their humanity.
No, and then everyone wants to always go talking about how, well, oh, look how it's always the evil people who get rewarded, and it's always the good people that get punished. But I'm like, what are those evil people rewarded with? More vice? No thanks.
Right.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
Where's virtue? Rewards virtue, even if you're not technically getting anything out of it. You are, though, because people think all this. Well, what am I getting out of it? It's like, well, what is God getting out of it?
Right.
You know, are you loving Him? Right.
I think, yeah. I think that we've sort of stripped the world of the meaning so that the material gain is all you want. But it's just kind of depressing, and not everybody can be at the top. You're always going to have people towards the bottom, but their lives are just as valuable.
Exactly.
And that's one thing I loved about Catholicism before I became Catholic. I was studying some of the church documents, and the fact that there were popes calling out, flat rejecting socialism, Marxism, as being not compatible with Christianity.
Yeah, totally unhuman.
Even though they were Christian socialists, they were very, it's a reduced form of Christianity, but still acknowledging the problems and the loss of worker protections, human dignity, in the capitalist system.
Exactly.
And that would really resonated with me as a millennial, That's...
Oh yeah, like Pope Leo the 13th condemns both capitalism and socialism. Right?
I don't think he condemns a market system, but he condemns Marxism, but in a market system you still need to have human dignity.
Well, yeah, he's not critiquing like the free market. It's more so like the capitalism of, the factories in London with the man with the top hat.
That's exactly it.
Right, where like if you got injured from like working some machinery, you would have to pay for that.
Right, or just more likely to just die.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, because he talked about how like capitalism gets it right in its affirmation of property rights, because we have a natural right to buy what we need. Right, like a government entity cannot limit resources that people need. Right. However just of a cause they might have, that's not acceptable. And then but it gets it wrong in that it puts profit over people, right? Where socialism gets it right in that people matter more than profit. Right, but that doesn't mean
that it doesn't work.
No, it does not. And the biggest problem is with socialism and Marxism, communism, whatever you want to call it. The biggest problem is that it's not about the reason it's really not Christian is that it's not about what can I give. It's about, what can I take from what someone else has and give it to people.
Sadly, it seems like it almost inevitably devolves to that,
Yeah.
Particularly with Marxism.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, did you ever have your Marxist phase?
No.
Never went through that?
No.
Oh, man.
I won't get into my private life, but I don't know why I turned out as conservative in my leanings and personality then. No, I don't mean Republican, I just mean as far as...
Sure.
I don't know why I did, but because a lot of my people in my close spheres are definitely not.
Right.
But no, I studied Marxism, but I think I rejected it very quickly,
Yeah.
I rejected the unfettered capitalism as well. I read Adam Smith. I thought, okay, he's onto something, but he
believes in one world government.
Way too far, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I was looking for something that I found in Catholic social teaching.
Yeah, because that's why I'm not really too big into politics and whatnot. Because I think a lot of it, it's just distraction, really. But also, like, you're not going to find salvation in political utopia.
There's none. Yeah.
No, because obviously St. Paul says that you need to be concerned about the things of heaven, not of earth, right? Obviously that does not mean that like fundamentalist where you just forget about the world, right? Oh no, it's all irredeemable. No, obviously that's not what it is.
Waiting for the rapture.
Waiting for the rapture. And I had a Protestant friend because I'm not that familiar with eschatology. I remember he asked me, he's like, "You believe in the rapture, right?" I'm like, I don't know, to be quite honest. Like there's a lot of things I don't know about faith.
That's fair.
And never be afraid, because now in this day and age with online Christianity, online apologetics and whatnot, we feel again that we have to be the master of everything. We need to know all the answers. When in reality, if you don't know the answer, it's okay.
Just be a human. Say you don't.
Yeah. My podcast I do with my buddy who's not a Christian. We talk about religion a lot. He'll ask me questions, and I sometimes know the answer. If I don't, I'm like, I just don't know.
That's great.
Because we don't know everything.
Yeah. I think that's the problem with the algorithm is you're forced to pick a side and say something and have an answer for everything. When in reality, most of those people wind up looking like fools trying to stay up in the algorithm
Yeah.
because they don't have all the information yet, but they have to say something or they become irrelevant, which is a problem.
Right.
Just being a human being saying, I don't know, let me wait and see.
Yeah,
It's
and
a very good thing.
G.K. Chesterton said that the riddles of God are more satisfying than the solutions of man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, yeah.
Yeah.
I just started rereading Orthodoxy again. It's been a while. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I still haven't. I mean, I'm familiar with like his quotes, and I've read excerpts, but I've never actually read like a complete book of his.
Okay.
I have a lot of them on my shelf. I just haven't gotten around to
That
it
one
yet.
might be a good one.
Yeah.
That one helped me. Again, like he helped me in ways I didn't see at the time. It's a sequel to his book on heretics,
Yeah.
which he's criticizing secular modernity of the 20s, 30s.
30s or something of what he was in. Yeah.
But so the critique he got in return was, but you didn't offer anything in its place. So I'll worry about my philosophy when you give me yours, Mr. Chesterton. So Orthodoxy is simply laying out his path to Catholicism,
Yeah.
essentially like Newman did.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
worth a read. You can read it in a weekend.
Yeah, and that's what I love about like the English closeted Catholicism, because England was like the most Catholic country on the face of the earth.
Sure.
Before King Henry VIII, right? And obviously, there's a lot of that in British literature of
Yes.
closeted
Oh,
Catholicism,
yes.
even in Harry Potter, with Sirius Black, right? The Catholicism being locked up, right? Exactly. Like it's not the Pope being locked should be locked up in the Tower of London or these Catholic priests. No, it's King Henry VIII severing his people from their roots. He should be the Tower of London.
That
you know?
is deep insight, not just to Harry Potter, but the way the world is now.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned earlier that we don't know who we are.
Yeah,
We live in the remnants of a dying Anglosphere,
we do.
and we don't know who we are. And it started with, I think, sadly, the Reformation.
Yeah.
He severed England from its roots, and it lived on. It steamed on with greatness
Yeah,
that got secularized and abused. But if you cut off your roots, now you have all these young men who grew up speaking English. They don't know what it means to be an American. They don't know what it means to be English.
yeah. What does it mean, to be of the Anglosphere, being an English-speaking person, right? Because we understand. Oh, yeah, there's a French identity. There's a German identity.
You're
There's
hardly allowed to say that now.
right, or like there's a Spanish identity, or like a Chinese-speaking sphere, right? But like, what does it really mean to be English? Because it's impossible to be disconnected from any sort of culture or lineage, right? Because obviously, speaking English, that you're connected to a culture, you're connected to a history of people who spoke the English language. Right. And one of the saddest things though about England and its departure from Catholicism is that they were not originally on board with the Reformation.
Oh no.
King Henry VIII was
Neither
referred
was he.
to as the defender of the faith.
That's right.
He was like, Martin Luther, you're full of shit. We
Yep.
need to stay Catholic.
That's right. Until it became convenient.
Until he couldn't control his sexual urges.
Yep.
That's what it all is. But
how do I say this as a gentleman? His desire for the ladies was change his religion. So
exactly. And then again, like Shakespeare, there's a lot of closeted Catholicism there.
Yep.
Again, Sirius Black, Gary Oldman looks a lot like Shakespeare.
saw that.
And then also, there's a lot of closeted Catholicism with.
Is Gary Oldman Catholic?
I don't know his religious background.
I'm gonna look that up now.
Shakespeare, it's debated.
Sure.
But he comes from a family that was historically had Catholic sympathies. Some of them were martyred.
Right.
Yeah. But also there's a lot of, you get the closeted Catholicism with Fawkes, the Phoenix. Guy Fawkes. The gunpowder plot.
Yeah, okay.
And J.K. Rowling even she admitted
Really?
that. She's like, yeah, I named him that because of the gunpowder plot. It's the Phoenix that will rise from the ashes. England will be Catholic again.
That is interesting.
The Phoenix will rise from the
I
ashes.
think American Christians missed so many opportunities with Harry Potter,
Star
Tolkien,
Wars.
Even I've watched a lot of Lucas interviews, and he calls himself a Metho-Buddhist. He grew up Methodist and like boomers.
But he has not rejected Christianity outright. He talks about it. He's religious.
He's a Metho-Buddhist, he says, but
because he loves his. He's like, yeah, that's where I grew up in, but I discovered this new thing, and he blended it together.
as they do.
Yeah,
But
Frank Hebert, right?
But it's basically the modernity has rejected mythology, as you said, and it's created its own myth. So all he did is give you a simple mythology with heroes, of archetypes and the hero's journey, and that resonated with people across the Western world.
Yeah.
deep for decades.
And what's so great about it is like it's a because sci-fi at the time, right, was like really esoteric, not really.
Yeah.
It was made for people working in Silicon Valley and whatnot, or Houston or something like that, right? But like Star Wars is a fairy tale, right? It's a futuristic fairy tale because like you have all this medieval stuff, yet it's the future and it's new, and that's what makes Darth Vader so terrifying, right? Because he's like this, he's ancient yet futuristic at the same time, you know? It's so cool, and it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
You know, it's just classic. It's so great. It's so great, and I'm gonna do my Empire Strikes Back review next. I just rewatched it.
Man.
Yeah, I'm doing that, and then I'm gonna do Return of the Jedi, and then I'm gonna do Episode 1, 2, and 3, and then I might do the sequels if there's. I'm gonna rewatch them. If there's something worth talking about, I'll make it. I don't know if there will be, but if I might just do. I don't know if I'm gonna, because for 1 through 6, I'm doing a video for each one.
Right.
I think for the sequels, I might just have to settle for a video just about all 3 of them together.
Yeah,
because
fair.
There's just not as much meat.
That's the problem.
You know?
It's not the acting, it's not the actors, it's not the music, it's not the cinematography.
No.
There's no story.
There's no just myth. And like there's just no plan.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's anti-myth if anything.
No, but I mean, even when I was a kid, I remember when I heard that they were gonna make another Star Wars. Like I didn't even want that. I was like, what else is there to tell?
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I mean, even a lot of the EU stuff, I got, like the extended universe, I got into that stuff later, but I was a little kid, like I didn't like any of that. To me, Star Wars was just the movies, maybe some of the video games, and that was that.
The Grand Admiral Thrawn series from like the 90s.
That's supposed to be pretty good.
Those are worth reading.
Yeah. I read that there was an Obi-Wan novel that was very good.
Okay.
Probably better than, I didn't even see the Obi-Wan show. I know that got a lot of hate.
It had a couple good moments.
The Obi-Wan novel was very good.
Okay.
And then also, there's a great book about Tarkin. And the video games are great too.
Yeah. Like
Knights of the Old Republic, Darth Revan, Darth Nihilus, really great characters. But yeah, so like when I heard that there was gonna be a new Star Wars, I was like, I don't want that. That's got bad news written on. I didn't even care if it was Disney, if it was George Lucas making it. I was like, what is this?
There has been a Star Wars movie that came and went out of theaters and hit streaming, and I couldn't care less. I don't even like The Mandalorian. I never even liked The Mandalorian when it was season 1. And that's how absolutely inept Disney was with Star Wars. You took one of the world's most beloved, well-known IPs and made people indifferent.
I know.
It's tragic.
I know, but I mean, actually, to give credit where credit's due, they actually made some banger games. At least in the games. I don't know.
The new one's good.
Like the Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Quality experience. It's basically, it takes a lot of inspiration from Dark Souls.
I love Dark Souls.
Yeah, where like there is a skill curve, and it's so cool. Like there's a lot of options you get to like. It's not just generic. You press A, the lightsaber swipes. Like there's different things you could do with the lightsaber. You could use the Force. You could force push. You could pull. You could throw your lightsaber. You could reel someone in, stab them, or you could push them, throw the lightsaber. You could force pound on the ground.